the U.S., including New York, Chicago, Los Angeles, Austin, and Washington, D.C. This protest comes after the two fatal ICE-involved shootings in Minnesota. The Supreme Court finishing hearing oral arguments in a case about whether states may count mail-in ballots received after Election Day. All 50 states require mail-in ballots to be postmarked by Election Day, but 14 states have grace periods where ballots that are submitted by Election Day can be counted if they arrive late. The case comes out of Mississippi, and court experts say the conservative justices seemed skeptical of the state's argument to allow it. The Supreme Court is expected to decide on the case by the end of June. Stay informed, stay connected, and subscribe. Follow VIN News this hour wherever you get your podcasts. I'm Terry McCready for the Black Information Network.
This report is sponsored by Staples. How many times have we all said, that was easy? Well, the Staples Easy button is back, and it's got everyone saying it again for custom prints, shipping services, even passport photos, plus quality products delivered next day to over 98% of the U.S. Staples. That was easy.
The Friday night of premieres returns to Vaughn TV Friday, March 27th. Opening night, Vaughn TV takes you inside a story that shook the nation. Say Her Name, the life and death of Sandra Bland. She was 28 years young, outspoken, politically engaged. 3 days after a routine traffic stop, she was found dead in a Texas jail cell.
How do you go from failure to signal a lane change to dead in jail by alleged suicide?
Say Her Name, a gripping look at the 2-year fight between her family and Texas authorities, revealing new details, hard truths, and Sandra's own powerful words. Then stay with us all month for bold storytelling from fearless new voices. Friday night of premieres begins March 27th, only on Vaughn TV. Watch on Roku, Amazon Fire, Apple TV Plus, the WVON app, or at VON.TV. Vaughn TV, for the culture, by the culture.
I'm Selma, and I'll be your server this evening. The special is pasta primavera, and it comes with a salad. Oh, and by the way, I abuse my children. Lots of times I beat them for even the smallest reason. When they really get on my nerves, I lock them in the closet for a few hours.
If only child abuse was this easy to recognize, perhaps then more people would report it. If you even suspect abuse, call Child Help at 1-800-4A-CHILD or visit www.childhelp.org. We've helped millions of people help millions of children, and we can help you. All calls are anonymous and confidential, so remember 1-800-4A-CHILD or visit www.childhelp.org. Child Help. Trust your instincts. A public service message brought to you by Child Help and the Ad Council.
Have you checked out WVON's digital streaming network, Vaughn TV? It's everywhere on Roku, Apple TV Plus, Amazon Fire, on the WVON app, and at VON.TV. Vaughn TV, it's cultural content on purpose.
The views expressed on our programs are not necessarily those of WVON, Midway Broadcasting Corporation, or our participating sponsors.
Happy Women's History Month from the station that celebrates Black Girl Magic, WVON.
Superwoman, yes I am, yes she is. Live from the Xfinity Studios, it's the station that America listens to, WVON, Berlin, Chicago. It's Matt McGill on Chicago's essential storyteller, WVON.
All right. You know, one day the good Lord decided that he was going to create a talk show host that was going to deliver the message to the masses, to the people, and tell them how to get to the mountaintop. That person is not me. I got you. Anyway, happy Tuesday, everybody. On the Talk of Chicago, 1690 AM WVON, 3 hours of talk radio on this Tuesday. The world is spinning. You're hanging on. You're black and you here. You know what? I was trying to think of a question for the day. And here's my question. My question is Black America, are we beyond help? Can Black America be repaired, or are we always going to be talking about the same things we're talking about today? For example, you can make an argument that the conversations we have on the show today are conversations we were having on the show, and I can make this point, conversations we were having on the show 20 years ago. When I first started on WVON in 2004, 2005, we were having these very same conversations. My guess is that 20 years prior, in 1984, the same conversations were happening. Somewhere in Black America in 1984, these very same conversations were happening. They were happening right on WVON, right? If you think about 1984, Harold Washington was mayor. So there had to be conversations happening about Black life, Black America, Black Chicago, our position in Black Chicago. I would imagine I don't even have to imagine. I know for a fact that 20 years prior to that, you would be talking about 1964. These very same conversations were happening about Black America. Where are we? Are we unified? Are we repairable? Has the legacy of slavery continued to overwhelm us? And I would imagine if you went 20 years before that, in 1944, or as some of you say, 44. I said 44, didn't I? Think I was starting to preach there. 1944. I bet in 1944, these same conversations were happening. A. Philip Randolph and the powers that be, the power people of that era were fighting the fight for Black America, trying to figure out what's going on. I would imagine it was happening. And then what if you went 20 years even before then, in 1924? I would imagine that our brothers, W.E.B. and Booker T, were probably in the last phases of their power, struggling and writing. Carter G. Woodson, I'm trying to 1924. Who would have been the thoughtful leaders of the time were analyzing our position. And if you went 20 years before then, 1904, you definitely had Booker T and W.E.B. were at the forefront of conversations about Black America. So I guess the point I'm making to you, my brothers and sisters, or I'm asking the question on this day, on this Tuesday, as I switch glass. Man, these are some sunglasses here. Are we going to still have these same conversations about being Black and living in America 20 years from now? Right? In 2046, 40 years from now, in 2066, 60 years from now, in 2086, 80 years from now. You see where I'm going with this? In 2106 and 100 years from now, in 2126, are we going to be having the same conversations? And if we are, is the question I'm asking, are we repairable? Are we just looking at the fate of Black America and Black people in this world that's going to continue? Are we just living during the dark ages of being Black in this world? And maybe this is going to be like a 300, 400, 500 year run until Black people ever get back on top? I mean, you guys, we're all going to be dead in 100 years. Most of us, 90% of us, right? In 100 years, right? We'll all be dead. But what about in 200 years, 45? How's history going to evolve for Black people? Because if you look at the United States of America right now, I mean, the outlook, the forecast isn't looking too great, is it now? So how do we correct that? How do we change that? I saw a story today. I don't know if you guys saw this story on the news about a UPS driver, young African-American, that was shot and killed on like 83rd and Hermitage. And he had just come back from driving over the road for UPS. So that means he went out of the city, out of the state, more than likely, delivering packages for UPS to another city in another state. Came back and he was looking for his vehicle, his personal vehicle, his SUV, his truck. He didn't see it, so he figured it had been stolen. I just saw this story on the news, guys. So he was walking around looking for his vehicle. And he walked to the intersection and somebody shot him. Somebody shot him. Somebody shot and killed him. Young brother, working, children, fiance, father was in tears. It's happened in our community, in our neighborhood. And I mean, look, guys, crime is going on everywhere. I mean, I'm not going to single this out, but this is not the behavior of a race of people that are going to make progress in 100 years. That's all I'm saying to you. What's the why behind that? Even if you just look at that story that I just told, what is the why behind that? Because, see, what I don't want to hear is it's because of the migrants. What I don't want to hear is the mayor's fault or any other politician. I know you guys think because I'm riding the mayor so hard, or any other politician. I don't like the governor that much, man, so I'm not going to blame the governor for this. I'm not going to say I don't like the governor. I just don't like what the governor's doing. So what's the answer to this, y'all? You tell me. Help me help you. 591-1690. It's 12:19. I'll run down today's show and take phone calls. I hope I'm getting some energy out of you today. 100 years from now, what are we going to be talking about? Where will Black people be? Where will Black America be? If where we are today is any indication, it's not looking good. Matty Rash on the board, Annette Flournoy and Logan with news, me and you, and these phone lines at 591-1690. Matt McGill Show. Get up on it, everybody.
More from Matt McGill coming up on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON. It's D.L. Hughley.
You can't kill your way to peace. We can have any number of experts talk about what's happening here, but ultimately it's this. It is powerful white dudes who want a resource. Like, we're going to pretend like we want you to have freedom, but really we want this oil.
Weekdays at 5 a.m. on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
Remember when getting your hair done wasn't just a beauty ritual, but a bonding experience? From hot combs in Grandma's kitchen to laughter in the local beauty salon, it's a journey rooted in love, legacy, and style. Join Nidra Williams, owner of Solo Beauty Supply, for the business of black hair Tuesday nights from 9 to midnight. She's bringing the sisterhood back. One story, one strand at a time. It's more than hair, it's heritage. Join the sisterhood Tuesday nights at 9 p.m. on the Talk of Chicago, WVON.
It all comes down to this, folks.
Yep, the entire season is on the line.
But my throat has officially thrown in the towel.
Sounds like you need Vicks VapoCool drops. They're max strength and vaporize sore throat pain.
Whoa! These VapoCool drops hit fast.
Speaking of fast, did you just see that play?
Yeah, he vaporized that ball.
That pun should have come with a penalty.
Vaporize sore throat pain with Vicks VapoCool drops. Use as directed.
It's tax season, and by now, I know you're a bit tired of the numbers, but here's an important one you need to hear. $16 billion. That's how much money in refunds the IRS flagged for possible identity fraud. Not all grim news. LifeLock monitors millions of data points per second for your personal information and alerts you to threats that you could easily miss on your own. If your identity is stolen, LifeLock's U.S.-based restoration specialist is going to fix it. Save up to 40% off your first year with the promo code BECK, 1-800-LifeLock or lifelock.com. Terms to apply.
Have you checked out WVON's digital streaming network, Vaughn TV? It's everywhere on Roku, Apple TV Plus, Amazon Fire, on the WVON app, and at VON.TV. Vaughn TV, it's cultural content on purpose.
Now back to Matt McGill on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
This is what MAGA voters are saying to Trump. You lied to me. You lied to me, you big, fat lion, fat freaking pig. Hey. So they want the return of the Mac. They want Obama back. Wouldn't that be a trip if Obama came back in office on this song? And if Barack came in, hold on, y'all got to watch this. If Barack came back in office, hold on, I got to move my chair. Can y'all see this on Facebook Live? Hold on. If he came back into the White House playing this song, Return of the Mac, and he came in, he walked into the doors of the White House like this. Y'all got to be on Facebook Live. He walked in like this. Oh, man, I'm having too much fun. Okay. Mia is on spring break, so I'm at home. She looked at my outfit today and said, I look a hot mess. I told her this is my Unabomber look when I come to work looking like this. Woo. I am drinking ceremonial cacao, and I celebrate this, and I'm wishing that you guys drink this. This is chocolate in its rawest form without the sugar. And it has the strongest level of antioxidants than anything that you can consume, including blueberries, which we all have been told. Blueberries are the number one thing that you can consume. All right, 591-1690. What we'll be talking about, man, now, if you think about 100 years ago, here we are, 2026, right now. 1926. You know what? Hold on. Let's do this, y'all. What were the top topics in 1926? What do you feel were the topics, the main issues in 1926 for Black people? I am going to ask our wonderful device here that I have. What were the top issues for Black America in 1926? Let's put that in Google and see what comes out, huh? All right, now listen to the response, guys. That's a powerful question, especially because 1926 is the very year Negro History Week was created by Carter G. Woodson. Remember, I mentioned Carter G. Woodson's name, specifically to address many of these challenges through education and awareness. Here are the major issues shaping Black life in 1926. All right. Segregation and Jim Crow laws. Pretty predictable. We would figure that. Across the South and in many ways the North, Black Americans lived under legal and social segregation. Separate but legal was still upheld from Plessy versus Ferguson. Separate schools, housing, transportation, even hospitals, public humiliation, and restricted access to opportunity. In reality, separate meant deeply unequal. All right. Do we have that issue today? Separate but equal. Well, I mean, in Chicago, you can make that case. Segregation is still pretty much alive and well in Chicago, wouldn't you say? We have Black schools and Black neighborhoods that are not being resourced. We have Black neighborhoods. What is our access to health care? This is one of the issues in 1926. All right, now this is an issue. Now, all right, I'll read this one. This is from 1926. I'm going to read this one. Hold on, I got to turn my ringer off. It's racial violence and lynching. Black communities lived under constant threat of violence in 1926. Lynching was still widespread, especially in the South. Anti-lynching laws were repeatedly blocked in Congress. What? I guess we have come a long way. Or have we? The NAACP led national campaigns to stop it. So 1926, this was even before, I guess, after Reconstruction. This probably was before we had our first Black member of Congress, which would have came out of Chicago, which was, what's our guy's name? He was a Republican. I can't remember it right now, but you guys know who I'm talking about. In 1926, I don't think he had been elected to Congress. So you mean to tell me in 1926 in America, we had a Congress that blocked anti-lynching laws? Wow. This is America, my friends. This is the country that we came from and that Donald Trump is trying to return us to. Economic inequality and labor exploitation. This is an interesting one. Sharecropping kept many in debt. Limited access to skilled or union jobs. So this was before World War II, where Black people got access to these union jobs. Wage gaps compared to white workers. Well, the unions kind of corrected that. Even in northern cities, discrimination shaped hiring. Economic mobility was extremely limited. Issue number 4, the Great Migration and urban struggles. Millions had moved north in the Great Migration, including Chicago, seeking jobs and freedom from Southern terror. Faced overcrowding, redlining, and new forms of racism. As we know, many of our grandparents faced here in Chicago. The redlining was definitely a form of racism that we are still trying to dig out of. Life was often better than the South, but far from equal. Political disenfranchisement. Now listen to this one. This is issue number 5 facing Black people in 1926. Black Americans were largely blocked from political power. Poll taxes, literacy tests, intimidation. Almost no representation in government. One rare exception was Oscar DePriest. That's who I was thinking of, guys. Elected in Chicago in 1928. So I asked 1926. So I was correct. Oscar DePriest had not been elected yet. He was elected in 1928. Issue number 6, cultural awakening. Check this one out. The Harlem Renaissance. At the same time, 1926 was a golden cultural moment. The Harlem Renaissance was in full swing. Writers like Langston Hughes, musicians like Duke Ellington. Art became a form of resistance, pride, and identity building. What is art doing today? Is art reflective? You know, I had a young lady on yesterday, Jacqueline Dortch. and the sister works for DCFS, and she had a poem and spoken word, which was powerful. But is art reflecting the struggles that Black Americans still live in today? That is interesting, because music and poetry and spoken word, like Langston Hughes and others. What's the other sister I'm thinking of? The sister I'm thinking about, Nora. God dog it. My brain is blank right now, guys. But we had spoken word was very, very important then. Is our art that's coming from our artists today reflecting the condition of Black America? That's an interesting. All right, it's 12:30. I'm gonna read these real quick and we can go over them. Number 7 is rise of Black institutions and self-determination. And that's the last one. I'll get into that when we return and take some of your phone calls at 591-1690. Annette Flournoy with WVON News coming up next.
Cloudy and cooler, temperatures topping out in the low 50s today. I'm Annette Flournoy, and here's what's happening. The Chicago Transit Authority is fighting to restore funding for the Red Line Extension and Purple Line projects. Back in October, the White House announced it was pausing more than $2 billion in funding for Chicago infrastructure projects, citing concerns about race-based contracting. The CTA sued, and now there is a court hearing today. The election for Chicago mayor is less than a year away. Mayor Brandon Johnson responds to questions from the media about whether he's seeking a second term.
Well, right now, my plan is to continue to drive violence down the city of Chicago to make sure that we're investing in communities. As I've said repeatedly, there will be plenty of time for politics.
He's expected to face several challengers in February's election. Johnson added that he's not fazed about the race and who may be running against him. Meanwhile, St. Sabina's Father Michael Flager wants answers about the city's so-called new direction on curbing violence. In a one-on-one with WVON's Cleopatra Draper, Flager questioned City Hall's lack of transparency in the firing of 2 top aides who have helped in bringing violence numbers down.
If there's a new direction, then you didn't consult the community and go in a new direction? Who came up with the new direction? I mean, where did this happen from? And what kind of vacuum did this come out of? If there's a new direction, why don't anybody out in the neighborhoods that are working it day in and day out know about it or been consulted about it or had input in it?
Manny Whitfield and Deputy Mayor for Public Safety Gary Ann Gatewood were abruptly fired. In an interview, Whitfield revealed that in the past, he and Gatewood filed a hostile work environment complaint against the mayor's senior leadership. And a woman who says she was drugged and raped by comedian Bill Cosby more than 50 years ago is awarded $19 million by a California jury. Donna Motzinger says she met him in 1972 while waitressing, hung out with him, and says he spiked her wine and raped her. Cosby's attorney says he doesn't remember the encounter, but if it happened, it was consensual. In 2018, Cosby was sentenced to 10 years in prison for drugging and sexually assaulting Temple University sports administrator Andrea Comstead back in 2004, but after 3 years, his sentence was overturned. And as golf season heats up with the Masters just weeks away, Tiger Woods is stepping into competitive golf once again. He's set to play in match 2 of the Top Golf League final today with his Jupiter Links team. The team just lost to LA while Woods was sidelined after disc replacement surgery. Well, that's a look at our news now on 1690 WVON. WVON News Time, 1234.
This Women's History Month, WVON proudly presents Women Who Roar, Black Women Leading in Corporate America, a special live roundtable discussion you don't want to miss. Tune in to Cleopatra Draper live on The Cleopatra Show, Wednesday, March 25th, 11 a.m. to 12 noon. Real stories, real leadership, real impact, only on WVON 1690.
I may ask this family about what they eat.
Dr. M?
If he's turning playtime into screen time, that might be something I'd like to know. Has he tried smoking? Does he vape? I might even ask about changes to her body. Is she feeling overwhelmed? Any signs of anxiety? If we feel comfortable asking these questions, shouldn't we also be asking, How do you store firearms in your home?
Firearm injuries are the leading cause of death for children and teens in the U.S. It's our responsibility to have a conversation about firearm injury prevention, because questions about safety are questions about health. Find tools at agreetoagree.org/healthcare.
Hi, I'm Tavis Smiley, inviting you to join me weekdays from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. right here on WVON. I am bringing you a national perspective on all the happenings in the Black community and, of course, politics. It's talk radio for us, by us, and this is where America listens.
It's Tavis Smiley, weekdays from 6 to 9 p.m. on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON. Hey, Alexa, play WVON 1690 AM.
Getting WVON 1690 AM station from iHeartRadio.
Try it out for yourself. America is listening to WVON. Protect your money and build your wealth. Sundays at 3 p.m., host and owners of Top & Top Insurance Agency, Clydell and Betty Top, teach you about protecting your assets, 401ks, annuities, life after retirement, the differences and benefits of life insurance, and they take questions. Their advice can enhance your financial future and your legacy. Call for a free WVON financial consultation, 773-881-8110. Tune in Sundays at 3 p.m. to protect your money and build your wealth. Powered by Top & Top Insurance Agency. Now back to Matt McGill on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
Come on. Nothing like straight from the west side, Earth, Wind, and Fire. Or do you say Earth, Wind, and Fire on WVON 591-1690? I got some phone calls. We're going over what were the top issues for Black America 100 years ago in 1926. And I've rattled off segregation and Jim Crow laws. It was one. Number two was racial violence and lynching. Number three, economic inequality and labor exploitation. That's an issue for today, I would imagine, yes, that we could talk about. Number four, the Great Migration and urban struggles. Those urban struggles continue. The racism that existed was different because it was redlining, right? We had complete segregation in Chicago in 1926, I'm sure, but we had overcrowding because Black people were moving to Chicago in unseen numbers. Race riots had erupted. We know about that in the race riot in 1919 that happened on Lake Michigan. But even with that being said, life was still better here than it was in the South for Black America. Number five, political disenfranchisement. This is something that we can really dig into, because if political disenfranchisement was an issue in 1926, why is it still an issue in 2026? Because in 1926, we're talking about poll taxes. We're talking about literacy tests that prevented people from running for office. And of course, intimidation. So none of that exists today. So why are we still politically disenfranchised? Or are we? I don't know. You guys tell me. We do have representation, because one of the issues right here said almost no representation in government in 1926. Well, we have plenty of representation in government today. The problem, I think, today is that our Black political infrastructure never really turned the corner on how creating real power. And so our Black political players today are still operating in a system that is really never going to deliver true power to Black communities. Now, let me say this. I think part of the problem is that we, in our community, we never fully accepted and embraced political education. So as much as I can blame or try to lay the blame at the hands of the Black political class and not creating a black political infrastructure that provided us with results, some of the blame rests on us, though, in the community, because we didn't do a good enough job of becoming politically educated. They're then learning about politics and learning how to hold our political representatives accountable. So I'm not going to put all the blame on politicians. Like a lot of times people call here WVON, our black politicians. Well, some of the blame for Black America in 2026, being in the position that we're in right now, some of that blame belongs to us because we haven't done what we were supposed to do in terms of being politically educated enough to hold our politicians accountable and help them make moves, help them gain power so that they can make moves and bring true change to our communities. Number 6, cultural awakening, the Harlem Renaissance. And I talked about this before we went to break. Are our artists today expressing the condition of Black America? And does the art reflect the reality of being Black in America? And number 7, we didn't get into this. The rise of Black institutions and self-determination. Black communities built their own systems to survive and thrive. Now check this out. Churches, colleges, businesses, newspapers. How many of them still exist today? Churches do, colleges do, but many of our Black colleges are struggling. Black-owned businesses exist today. Newspapers and Black media is struggling. WVON is one of the few exceptions. Influence of leaders like Marcus Garvey. And that's an interesting take. And the growth of Black-owned media and organizations. Well, that happened during the 20s, no question about it. Chicago Defender was really the prime example around the country of that. Bottom line, in 1926, Black America was navigating a dual reality: oppression, segregation, violence, exclusion, and resilience, migration, cultural, institution building. That tension is exactly why Carter G. Woodson launched Negro History Week to reshape identity and reclaim history in the face of systemic erasure. All right, 591-1690. We've got some phone calls. Let's go to Kevin. Kevin, welcome to WVON. What's on your mind?
Yeah. Can you hear me, Matt?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So 2 points you made. Hey, man, you on point on everything. Regarding the music and the culture, was the culture that we're expressing right now, the talent and gifts are in us, but it's not purpose for us, it's purpose against us. I mean, the messages are clear, man. It's purpose to kill us. I run a nonprofit intervening against youth violence, crime, substance abuse, using music as a vehicle to overcome that. The other thing is, and there's not a lot of support with that. Let's just put it clearly. We're not supporting each other in those endeavors as grassroots organizations. But the other point, as far as the trauma that's been thrown on us for centuries, that's where all of our problems are stemming from. We have to address that, man. We talk about reparations, but we don't talk about comprehensive reparations. Everybody want a check or expect a check, so reparations gets thrown into a wrong category. We need to talk about comprehensive reparations and the repairing of ourselves. And a lot of it is on us, man. You mentioned a whole bunch of points about all of the challenges that we're facing with Black-on-Black crime and all these other things, man. That's a real problem, and that tells us that at the root of the problem, it is us. That's all I got, Matt.
It's pretty good, brother. I mean, I think, all analysis to me is going to lead back to us, that it really does get back to us, who we are in the community, and have we done a good enough job of educating ourselves on how to get ahead, right? I think the only thing, what political representation has done for Black America, it has given Black people, at least this generation of Black people, it's given Black people a target to point to blame on our condition. Black America has had a hard time over the, and let me say this. Black America psychologically is in a position that we are in, and that position is a self-destructive condition. The reason why Black America is in a self-destructive condition is because of systemic racism and bigotry. So let's just be clear on that. All right. The problem, though, is that we have been mired in this too long for us not to recognize it and figure our way out of it. In fact, there were times where we did figure our way out of it, only to be kind of like duped back into the same thing. I think what surprises me about Black America today is how easily we are duped. We are duped. Byron, welcome to WVON. What's on your mind?
Hey, Matt. Long time no talk to, but hey, did you hear about the university young lady that from New York that was shot dead near Loyola when she was out to the beach or something last week? Did you hear about that?
I did hear the story. I don't know all the details, but I heard the story.
Right. But they come to find out that a person that was wanted by ICE, who was robbing Macy's, right? That's why he was wanted by ICE. He was robbing Macy's. He was out on a detainer and was a Venezuela illegal alien. You know, we got all these criminals. No, I'm getting to the crime part. Because you talk about crime when that UPS guy that got shot. You know, crime, we got to address crime. I heard you several times get upset and said, we've got to do something about this. And that Safety Act needs to go, man. We cannot let people who have committed crimes and been in prison and all felonies for 17 times be out on the street amongst us. Even Perry said that. Some people don't need to be among us. And if we can get rid of crime, look at when I go down 79th Street between Jeffrey and Lakeshore, there's no stores. You know, who's going to take a risk of their funds to open a store if you can get robbed and nothing's going to happen to you?
So let me ask you this. Do you feel the answer is to have more policing and tougher policing, tougher sentencing? What are you suggesting the answer is?
Yeah, but I think that anyone who has 17 felonies against them or arrested should not be on the street. They should have the day in court. They should not be out. We gotta be more. Because we gotta give people incentives to open businesses in our own community. If the risk is too high, they're not gonna take their hard-earned money and try to open a small business. Because we used to have all these small businesses on 87th Street.
I agree with you. I think the question I'm asking is, like, I think if we all agree that crime is a problem, right? And I think we all agree that crime is a problem in every community, right? We see it in the story I just told today happened in our community, but we see crime in the brown community, crime in white communities as well. It's not as reported as much. We see, crime exists in every community, right? And crime has been a part of the American inner city fabric for a very long time. I mean, there's not a generation that we were not talking about. I asked the question, what were the big issues for Black America in 1926? Crime, like black on black crime, was not an issue, but one of the issues was violence against Black people, right? So violent crime has been a part of America from the beginning. I would, if we're just going to go back 100 years for the sake of this conversation, in 1926, there was violent crime in America going on right here in Chicago. So crime has always been around. I guess the question is, has crime had a greater impact on Black America over the last 100 years than any other community? Think about that until we come back. 591-1690 is the number to call. You're listening to The Matt McGill Show.
More from Matt McGill coming up on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
Secure the rate, love the return.
Hi, I'm Harry Malone, Vice President and Community President of United Fidelity Bank. At United Fidelity Bank, we make it easier than ever to start growing your money with confidence. Right now, you can take advantage of our high-yield CDs, including our 6-month term, currently paying 4.20% annual percentage yield. It's a competitive rate designed to help your savings work harder from day one. And when you bank with us, you're choosing more than a great rate. You're choosing a team that believes in personal service, relationships, and financial solutions tailored to your goals. We're not a big box bank. We're your local partner committed to delivering the experience you need and the service you deserve. Stop by and see me or my team to open your high-yield United Fidelity Bank CD at our Chicago flagship branch at 1701 West 87th Street. Details at unitedfidelity.com.
Rates are subject to change at any time. CDs renew automatically to a standard rate in effect at the time of renewal unless instructed otherwise. Member FDIC.
Tuned in to your favorite WVON personalities on Facebook Live? Don't just watch, like it, love it, share it. Every click helps us grow the conversation and keep the community strong. So remember, like it, love it, share it, Chicago.
The Friday night of premieres returns to Vaughn TV beginning March 27th. 4 nights, 3 feature films, 1 powerful short film showcase. Each Friday, Vaughn TV brings you stories that challenge, inspire, and spark conversation, from gripping documentaries that examine real-life events to powerful dramas that explore justice, identity, and the human spirit. Friday night of premieres is your destination for meaningful cinema beginning March 27th, with a month of films that inform, provoke, and inspire exclusively on Vaughn TV. Watch on Roku, Amazon Fire, Apple TV Plus, the WVON app, or at VON.TV. Vaughn TV, for the culture, by the culture.
It all comes down to this, folks.
Yep, the entire season is on the line.
But my throat has officially thrown in the towel.
Sounds like you need Vicks VapoCool drops. They're max strength and vaporize sore throat pain.
Whoa! These VapoCool drops hit fast.
Speaking of fast, did you just see that play?
Yeah, he vaporized that ball.
That fun should have come with a penalty.
Vaporize sore throat pain with Vicks VapoCool drops. Use as directed.
It's tax season, and by now, I know you're a bit tired of the numbers, but here's an important one you need to hear. $16 billion. That's how much money in refunds the IRS flagged for possible identity fraud. Not all grim news. LifeLock monitors millions of data points per second for your personal information and alerts you to threats that you could easily miss on your own. If your identity is stolen, LifeLock's U.S.-based restoration specialist is going to fix it. Save up to 40% off your first year with the promo code BECK, 1-800-LifeLock or lifelock.com. Terms do apply.
It's the afternoon show with Atiba Buchanan and LaDonna Ray, your new favorite part of the day.
Tune in 3 to 6 Monday through Thursday on WVON 1690 AM. We ask the questions you're thinking
and the ones you're afraid to ask.
The afternoon show,
only on WVON.
Now back to Matt McGill on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
Sit down, Leon, sit down. Who that thinking that he frontin' on women? Get the off my stage, I'm the semen. Get the off my, that ain't right. I ain't make a play blowing up your whole
Okay. 591-1690 is the number to call. Everybody talking about, you know what we talk about on this show? Black America, Black Chicago. Number one, I want everybody on Facebook Live to share the show. My shares have been down primarily because I haven't been asking you guys to share. So share the show so people all over the world can hear the voices, your voice, read your words, and know that black people in Chicago are talking. That's right. We're talking about being black in America, being black in this world, being a person of color, and how we're navigating through the world. Where we were 100 years ago, and here we are today. Violence has always been an issue, guys. I mean, you know, Byron brings up an interesting question, about until we control violence. Well, I mean, how long have we been trying to control violence, y'all? That's been an issue in America, right? Especially in inner cities. I mean, we've had, Guys, we can go back to the 80s, and we know we had big violent problems, that, you know, the whole West Side and South Side gang growth during the late 70s and early 80s created a lot of violence. Early 70s, of course, we had the Blackstone Rangers, Gangster Disciples, the Jeff Ford, Larry Hoover era, so to speak, late 60s as well. If you look at Chicago from the entire 20th century, if you look at Chicago, Illinois, the entire 20th century from 1900 to 1999, Chicago was probably the epicenter of American violence. So violence is nothing new. In the late 1800s in Chicago, the Irish that were immigrants here, the Irish communities, before black people were even measuring up to any population numbers in Chicago, the violence was incredible in Chicago. The gangs that existed in the early 1900s, Jewish and Irish and Italian street gangs, dominated the streets of Chicago, right? In the 20s, 30s, Al Capone. Well, do I have to tell you about the Al Capone era of Chicago violence? So violence has plagued Chicago, and then organized crime. When the mafia, when Al Capone died and left what was equivalent to $1 billion in cash somewhere in this city, Tony Arcado and others, Frank Needy and some of the others, I'm sure had a stash of cash and created businesses and organized crime. So then we had the whole era of organized crime in Chicago. I mean, violence and crime has been a part of America and has definitely been part of Chicago. What about the question I asked before we left, though? Has violence in America impacted Black America more than any other race? Because violence happens in every community and has happened in every era. But has it impacted negatively Black Chicago and Black America more than any other race? Let's go to D. D, welcome to WVON. What's on your mind?
Hi, Matt. Thanks for taking my call.
Sure.
How are you?
Absolutely wonderful.
That's great. So, we Black people don't own a patent or a trademark on violence, and I just wish we wouldn't look at ourselves as such violent people, because we really aren't. And there's studies and data out there that prove so. Either you believe in, the information and the data collected, or you don't. Or you can just really look out your own window or door and see that there's just a small percentage of those of us who are out there doing things that we shouldn't do. For the most part, most of us are trying really hard to just survive. So in that aspect, that small number, it does impact us because we live in the community. And so we have to deal with the ills that plague our community in those small numbers. So I don't have a solution, Matt. I wish I did. I do know that when people don't have stress, when they don't have worry, when they don't have sickness and things of that nature to deal with, they aren't so violent, or they don't have those stresses on them that would make them do something that they wouldn't otherwise do when they're in survival mode. So to answer your question, Matt, it's always impacted us, but we didn't invent violence, and we didn't make violence one of those things that only Black people do, because we know that's not true. Anyone can pick up a book or listen to any kind of informational sessions. We are not violent people. We just aren't.
Well, I mean, are people violent, period, though? When we say we're not violent people, when you say that, though, D, are you saying black people, we're not violent people by nature? We're not violent people. Are black people by nature different than brown people and white people and other races? Are they more prone to violence than we are? I mean, I just think that we all are kind of a creation of our environment, right? And the circumstances that we live in. But the question remains, right? Has violence impacted Black America more than any other race? Has poverty impacted Black America more than any other race? And has a lack of education, and especially political education, hurt Black America more than any other race? Share the show right now, my WVON family, in 591-1690. Derek, Jim, Hope, you guys hold on. Your calls are coming up next. The 1 o'clock hour is on the way.
Happy Tuesday afternoon, Chicago. I'm Logan Page, and here are your news headlines. CPS CEO Macklin King joins the Rufus Williams Show and named finalist for superintendent role. ICE agents deployed to O'Hare Airport as partial government shutdown continues. Hate crime vandalism targets Hyde Park Theater, and nationwide recall issued for contaminated alcohol pads. National news from the Black Information Network is up next on Chicago's only urban talk radio station, WVON 1690, Berwyn, Chicago.
Here's BIN News Now. An Air Canada express jet hit a Port Authority rescue truck while landing at LaGuardia Airport, killing the pilot and co-pilot. An air traffic controller appeared to admit he messed up in the heat of the moment.
That wasn't good to watch.
Yeah, I know. I was here. I tried to reach out to my stuff, and we were dealing with an emergency earlier. I messed up.
No, man, you did the best you could.
41 people were sent to the hospital. The airport reopened Monday about 2 p.m. Eastern following the fatal collision. Former President Obama is praising the late Robert Mueller as one of the FBI's finest leaders after President Trump reacted to Mueller's death by saying he was glad he was dead. Mueller, who led the Russia investigation, died Friday at 86. And Netflix and Warner Music Group have signed an exclusive multi-year first-look deal for documentaries on WMG artists, which CEO Robert Kinsel calls a major chance to reach new fans. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app. Here's Terry McCready.
ICE agents are now at the nation's airports. The Trump administration says they're helping TSA agents who have been working without paychecks during the partial government shutdown.
These guys, they got families like anybody else. They're Americans like anybody else. It's terrible what's happened to them.
Black Republican Congressman and candidate for Governor Byron Donalds of Florida blames the Democrats for playing politics. Party leadership doesn't want to fund the Department of Homeland Security until major changes are made to the immigration enforcement tactics of ICE agents. Donalds met with the Florida Atlantic University College Republicans yesterday for an invitation-only event at the school in Boca Raton. President Trump in Memphis yesterday talking up crime reduction in the U.S.
Here in Memphis, we've achieved one of the largest, fastest declines in violent crime ever recorded. So that's something, right? Ever recorded.
Trump participated in a roundtable to discuss the success of the Memphis Safe Task Force. The initiative launched last year and is aimed at reducing violent crime through coordination among local, state, and federal agencies. Trump said because of the operation, Memphis can no longer be called the murder capital of the U.S. FBI Director Kash Patel, Attorney General Pam Bondi, and Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth were also in attendance. The Chicago Transit Authority is suing the Trump administration in a move to reverse a White House decision to freeze $3.1 billion in funding for rail projects in the third most populous U.S. city. The CTA is calling the suspension an unlawful act of political retaliation. According to the lawsuit, the U.S. Transportation Department and its Federal Transit Administration already have withheld at least $9.5 million from the city's public transit agency since October. The transit agency called the frozen grants crucial to modernize and expand the Chicago system of elevated and underground trains. Organizers predicting millions of Americans will join this weekend's No Kings protests against President Trump. It's set for Saturday in the third such national protest. According to the event website, demonstrations are planned in more than 3,000 locations across the U.S., including New York, Chicago, Los Angeles, Austin, and Washington, D.C. This protest comes after the two fatal ICE-involved shootings in Minnesota. The Supreme Court finishing hearing oral arguments in a case about whether states may count mail-in ballots received after Election Day. All 50 states require mail-in ballots to be postmarked by Election Day, but 14 states have grace periods where ballots that are submitted by Election Day can be counted if they arrive late. The case comes out of Mississippi, and court experts say the conservative justices seemed skeptical of the state's argument to allow it. The Supreme Court is expected to decide on the case by the end of June. Stay informed, stay connected, and subscribe. Follow VIN News this hour wherever you get your podcasts. I'm Terry McCready for the Black Information Network.
Catch Reverend Al Sharpton online at WVON.com or on the WVON app. Just click the Al Sharpton banner. Tune in every day at 12 noon for your daily dose. And if you miss it, catch the overnight replay from midnight to 3 a.m. We're keeping it real with Al Sharpton on WVON 1690.
Reverend Al told you personally, keep it real. Keep it real. Keep it real.
With your help, the Illinois Lottery generated $784 million for education last year. Play all your favorite Illinois Lottery games today to help raise even more. Be smart, play smart. Must be 18 or older to play. Game odds available at IllinoisLottery.com.
This Women's History Month, we're amplifying the brilliance, the boldness, and the unapologetic power of women who refuse to whisper. These are the women who roar, the lawmakers, the CEOs who walk into boardrooms and flip the script, the journalists who ask the hard questions, the organizers who move communities from outrage to action. These women are breaking barriers, rewriting narratives, and redefining what leadership looks like, fueled by courage and driven by legacy. Listen to Women Who Roar, an exclusive feature on WVON, because quiet was never the assignment.
Happy Women's History Month from the station that celebrates Black girl magic, WVON.
Live from the Xfinity Studios, it's the station that America listens to, WVON, Berlin, Chicago. It's Matt McGill on Chicago's essential storyteller, WVON.
Like an answer from above, you came into my life. And showed me one thing for sure. With love, nothing is certain. You have to go for it when you feel it. Everybody needs somebody love. To baby. So let me move right now, baby.
You only go around once in a lifetime. That move. All right, we're back. 591-1690, talking about Black people 100 years ago. I asked a question when we first came on the show, guys. You know, will we be talking about the same issues 100 years from now that we're talking about right now? Oh, everybody share. Give me a share on Facebook Live, all my brothers and sisters. Let's see who's out there. Queen Kim, I know you've already shared. I know that. Norman Love, I see you right there. J Rock Rogue Senior, share the video. MC Robinson, share the show for me. Rudy, share the show for me. Mike Burries, share the show for me. Red Sea says there's a different type of violence in 2026. Al Capone and other monsters committed crimes in reference to liquor sales. These ninjas killing each other in reference to self-hatred. A lot of self-hatred going on. Alma McIntosh, hey, how you doing, Alma, my sister? Queen Kim, what's going on? I said Queen Kim. Alma, tell KK she need to come on the show. I'm trying to get young people on the show now. Marjorie Tatum shared a show. Leroy Bridges shared a show. Red Sea, we already went over that. Let's see what else I got. Randall McFarland shared the show. Let me go all the way back to the beginning. Reggie Brown, my brother, shared the show. All right, I think we got everybody in there. 591-1690. It's talking about these issues. Are we going to be talking about them? And you know, is the failure of political power in Black America, is that the result of a failure of Black politicians or a failure of the Black community not being politically educated and understanding how to take advantage of Black politicians that are in place? Hello? Harold Spriddle, Philadelphia in the house. Hey, Harold, I had Asia from Kindred the Family Soul on with me on Friday. Speaking of Philadelphia in the house. Representing, right? 591-1690. Is it us or is it the politicians? You tell me. I think there's enough blame to go around for everybody. But really, I came on the show talking about, is Black America repairable? Because, man, see, I think about this all the time. I don't know about you guys. I'm like, is Black America repairable? Because when I saw this story today about this brother who got shot and killed, UPS driver, came home from a gig, somebody stole his car, he was looking around for his car. What am I doing? Was looking for his car, couldn't find it. He went walking around looking for his car. Somebody shot and killed him. 83rd and Hermitage. Trying to look the story up because it's really important and it's sad. All right, we got 71 shares. That's my people. That's what I'm talking about. That quick, we got 71. Y'all are amazing. Let me see if I can find this story for y'all, man, because I saw it. Let's see. This story happened today, so it's I'm asking, and it's bringing up old stories on Google. 5-time felon says he was told. Now, look, this is an old story here, I think. Look at this one, y'all. A 5-time felon accused of executing a UPS driver as he returned home to his Bronzeville apartment told police he's simply following orders when he opened fire. Eugene Roney fired 2 shots at 49-year-old Wyatt Turner on the front steps of Turner's apartment building in the 500 block of East 44th Street after waiting for him to return from work, Assistant State's Attorney Kimberly Cross said. And this happened in 2025, guys, last August. According to Cross, Roney, who has a lengthy criminal history, including a federal firearms conviction, told police he did what he was told and shot Turner around 11:30 a.m. Surveillance video showed a stolen silver Volkswagen sedan arrive and park near Turner's home. On the morning of the murder, the driver got out and walked away while Roney remained in the passenger seat. Turner returned home from a UPS shift, parked on 44th Street, and walked toward his building. As he crossed the street, Roney allegedly exited the Volkswagen, followed him through the gate of the apartment. As Turner walked up the stairs front, Roney moved a handgun from his, and so boom, boom, boom. It's in Bronzeville, man. It's crazy. This story just happened, so obviously it's not in the news yet. But this brother was shot and killed overnight while he returned home. The senseless violence that happens in our community, is it always going to happen? Is there ever going to be an answer to it, or are we just going to be dealing with it? Let's go to Derek. Derek, welcome to WVON. What's on your mind?
Matt, you're killing it as usual, brother. You know, Matt, I'm not sure who coined the phrase, if you don't know your history, you're doomed to repeat it, or something to that effect. But I was with this brother a couple of calls before me, up until the last part. And what we need to realize is that words have meaning. And when you start labeling folks, talking about, illegal immigrants is the one that killed the girl at the Loyola, yes, that's a fact. But then they're going to start labeling us, as they always have. Black on black crime, just like you said previously about the Italians and the Irish. So I just don't think it's beneficial for us as people to get up here and do the same crap that the white folks do. I just really don't think it's helpful. And I just have one other point of clarification for you, historical clarification for you. Mr. Oscar Dupree was never elected. He was the first black congressman from Illinois, but he was never elected. He was appointed. And when he ran again, he lost. And in the 50s, I was born in the 50s, Matt. I lived at 3801 Lake Park. Mr. Dawson, Bill Dawson, the grown folks call him Big Bill Dawson, but kids couldn't call grown-ups by their first name. And he was the first black elected congressman from the state of Illinois. You have a good day, Matt.
Well, Oscar Dupree had to get elected, though, because even if he was appointed, he served like two terms at least, or 3 terms, didn't he? That's my guess. I mean, I looked it up and said he served from 28 to 35. So wouldn't he have had to have been elected? I'm guessed. I don't know. And of course, William Dawson, Big Bill Dawson, man, legendary. Bill Dawson and my grandfather were business partners. They owned a jitney company together, believe it or not. That's my little connection to Mr. Dawson there. Good call, brother. Let's go to Hope. Hope, welcome to WVON. What's on your mind?
Good afternoon, Matt. Matt,
Hey.
I think if you look at the numbers answer your question. As formerly enslaved people, we've been in this country over 400 years. And for the first 250 years that this country has been a country, 200 years, they have passed laws that have limit and controlled specifically us. I'm just the 3rd generation out of slavery, and I'm living dreams that my grandmother and father could not live. They could not go to college. The laws prevented that. Remember, in the 60s, it was an event for Black people to be on TV. We are on TV everywhere. Yes, we are progressing. Yes, we are taking steps back, but we're progressing. And we're helping each other more than we give each other credit for. I'm not a member of any fraternity. Never had any desire to. But it was members of fraternities that reached back to guide me towards college. My father was a card-carrying member of the NAACP. I am not. That's a problem. Yes, we move forward, but we move back. But I think we're headed in the right direction. We had a black president, didn't get all we want, but we're headed in the right direction. Look at the numbers.
I know, I hear. So I think, look, just by virtue of population growth, we're going to have more of everything, right? So, I mean, look, if we go back 100 years, 1926, then of course we have more Black-owned businesses today than we ever have. We have more Black young people in college than we ever have. Of course, we have more Black millionaires than we ever have. I think that's just a byproduct of population growth, right? I will say we have more tools, access to more tools than we did, right? Because back then we just didn't have access just by virtue of racism. We were locked out of information and school and stuff like that. So the internet provides us with data and information at our fingertips, right?
Yes.
Right. School. I mean, so all of that, I think, but collectively, I think as we look at Black America, you get judged by the worst of your community. And I think collectively, when we look at Black America, there's a lot of criticism and fair criticism to be levied against Black America, probably, targeting what people would consider to be the worst of our community, right? I don't know. 119, let's take a break here. Are we in a position? Here's the question. We've got more black millionaires. We got more access to cash. We've got more access to credit. We have more access to education. We have more access to business ownership. We have more business ownership, all of that. Are black people better off today than we were 100 years ago? Reading these issues, of course, we would say yes, right? We don't have to deal with lynching. That's not one of our issues. We don't have a Congress that is blocking anti-lynching laws. However, we have a Congress that's poised and a president who's trying to pass a law that requires voter identification that may hurt black people, and other laws. So is it the same, different, what? 591-1690. I'll get into it a little more when we come back on the Matt McGill Show.
More from Matt McGill coming up on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
Xfinity Tech Support, Matthew speaking.
Hi, I live in a pretty remote place, like Jurassic Park remote. No!
Wow.
Will Xfinity Mobile work out here?
Yep, the combination of reliable Wi-Fi and 5G makes it so that you can stay connected in all kinds of places. Plus, you get access to ultra-fast speeds and coverage, whether you're poolside or out live streaming with a T-Rex.
Hold still, you're about to go viral.
Welcome to a new era of Wi-Fi boosted mobile. Cut your mobile bill in half with 2 lines of unlimited. Learn more at xfinitymobile.com. Xfinity. Imagine that. Watch Jurassic Park with Xfinity. Restrictions apply. Xfinity Internet required. Savings comparison based on promotional rate for 2 lines of Xfinity Mobile Unlimited versus 2 lines of T-Mobile Experience More, Verizon Unlimited Plus, and AT&T Starter as of February 10th, 2026. Taxes, fees, extra.
Since 1985, Solo Beauty has been Chicago's home for beauty, culture, and confidence. From locks to curls, find all your favorite brands. Luster Pink, TGIN, Talia Waheed, plus local favorites like Tress Organics, Lock Bay, and Black Panther. When you shop Solo, you support Black jobs, Black business, and Black beauty. Visit us at 8158 South Cottage Grove or 9011 South Ashland, or shop online and on DoorDash. And don't forget to tune in Tuesdays at 9 p.m. for the Black Hair Care Business Talk Show on WVON. Shop Solo, shine together.
It all comes down to this, folks.
Yep, the entire season is on the line.
But my throat has officially thrown in the towel. Sounds like you need Vicks VapoCool drops. They're max strength and vaporize sore throat pain.
Whoa! These VapoCool drops hit fast.
Speaking of fast, did you just see that play?
Yeah, he vaporized that ball.
That fun should have come with a penalty.
Vaporize sore throat pain with Vicks VapoCool drops. Use as directed.
It's tax season, and by now, I know you're a bit tired of the numbers, but here's an important one you need to hear. $16 billion. That's how much money in refunds the IRS flagged for possible identity fraud. Not all grim news. LifeLock monitors millions of data points per second for your personal information and alerts you to threats that you could easily miss on your own. If your identity is stolen, LifeLock's U.S.-based restoration specialist is going to fix it. Save up to 40% off your first year with the promo code BECK, 1-800-LifeLock or lifelock.com. Terms to apply.
It's Rufus Williams. Every weekday morning from 7 to 9, I break down what's really going on, politics, power, and the people shaping our communities. Think of it like your morning newspaper, headlines, context, and what it actually means, so you can take it in, sit with it, and move smarter through your day. If you're part of the Roo Crew, you already know. And if you're watching on Facebook Live, the comments are a whole other show. A family reunion happening in real time. Listen live or on the WVON app, or join us on Facebook Live. It's the Rufus Williams Show, weekdays 7 to 9, right here on 1690 WVON.
Now back to Matt McGill on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
All right, we're back. 591-1690, number to call. Talking about you, Black America, and everything that goes on in this world. We've been talking about, actually, I came on the show and asked a question, can Black America be repaired? When you think about the violence, when you think about the lack of political power, even though we have political power, we have Black politicians positioned all over the place. But do we have real political independence? I would say to you right now that just about every Black politician in the city is dependent on the governor right now, right? I mean, every Black politician in the state is dependent on the governor, except for the mayor. The mayor kind of does his own thing, but he needs the governor to get things done. The governor has proven to be this force that is much like Mike Madigan. If you're not going to dance to his music, then you're going to get excluded, right? This is, a dictatorship. I mean, what Governor Pritzker is doing here in Illinois is really no different than what President Trump is doing nationally. Really not, guys. And the governor may hate to hear that, but I think people who are being honest about it would probably tell him that is the case. But where does that put Black America? That puts Black America and Black politicians at the whims of the governor. I would like to see the Speaker of the House, and I think he has done this. I think, to be honest with you, when I look at the Speaker of the House is probably the person in this state that has more independence. Even though he's playing good politician, he's playing good team offense, I guess, with the governor. He's kind of being this guy that's going to, be a big party guy and share. I don't know if the speaker can show independence when it comes to endorsements. Like, could the speaker have endorsed somebody different? Like the governor, I hate to say it, but I feel like the governor made him endorse Stratton. It would have been interesting if the speaker would have endorsed Robin Kelly, right? And threw some financial resources her way. But I guess they wanted to show some unity there. And that's not a knock on Julie Stratton. I'm happy Julie Stratton won. I would prefer her absolutely over Raja Krishnamurthy for a lot of reasons. And I expressed that. And when I realized it was a two-person race, I was absolutely for Lieutenant Governor Stratton winning. I just hate the fact that Pritzker was so heavy-handed. And she is under the Pritzker umbrella, so to speak, because I'm not so sure that is a good thing for Black politics in the state of Illinois overall. I'm not sure that we are getting out of this governor who relies on Black support a lot, and we gave it to him in this election on Tuesday. Governor Pritzker was the big winner a week ago. I'm not sure that Black Illinois has gotten a return on that loyalty. And I'm talking about substantial things, not superficial things, substantial things. And I would challenge anybody out there listening, any politician, state elected official, if you feel I'm wrong, call in and correct me. I need the information. Don't just sit back and criticize the show or the messenger. Say, hey, Matt, let me enlighten you to what's going on out here. I'm more than welcome. And even the governor himself can come on and share what he feels has been substantial progress made in Black Illinois since he's become governor. I am more than welcome to have that conversation with the governor or anybody representing the governor's office or any of our many Black elected officials in Springfield that are 100% behind Governor Pritzker. And I don't know too many Black elected office that aren't. So I think you see where I'm going with this conversation at 591-1690. Jim, welcome to WVON. What's on your mind?
Well, my friend, I used to say there's a meme, Al Capone says, when I was in Chicago was a much safer place. But anyways, a lot of the violence you're talking about in the old days was more directed at mobs and activity and things like that, but not just the general public. And this is the problem with this poor girl got shot up in Rogers Park. In fact, I sent Joe Moore a message. I said, Joe Moore, Rogers Park needs you, because that lady, did you hear her comments? What an awful piece of garbage that woman is, trying to blame the victim who got shot on the beach. And also there was another case, I think Nevada, where a judge wanted this criminal release. He's been in arrested 35 times. And local sheriff says, you know what? This guy's a danger to society, and he's refusing the judge's orders. And this is what should be done. These people should not be out in the streets.
Well,
should not repeat crime after time after time.
Yeah, but Jim, what I hear you trying to do is you're trying to say that Al Capone, the crime of the Al Capone era, we agree that it was different, but a lot of innocent people were killed during the 20s and 30s and during Al Capone's reign. They were driving by and using machine guns and shooting people, and oftentimes they killed innocent people. So we can't sit up here and pretend like
it wasn't he wasn't a church boy. I'm just saying that's the joke. Because
I hear you, but I'm just saying innocent people have been getting killed in America for years, right?
Yeah. But the problem is now with the sanctuary city policy, there's been countless numbers of times when people have been arrested, they're let out of jail, and they do repeat more crimes. Or in the case like in Alvin Bragg in New York, who can only brag about more crime, these people commit crimes and they change the charges or let them go or whatever, and it's just awful. That's why there's more crime in these areas, because they're all controlled by Soros-supported Democrats.
Yeah, well, I look. So the question remains: what do we do? Can you police yourself out of violence? Hold on, Jim. Let me finish the question, brother. Can you police yourself out of violence, or do you have to change the culture? Right? I mean, look. You're pointing to examples of people who were criminals and maybe have been let out on bail or whatever, and then they return and commit a crime. You're saying that's the problem, but do you know the story? Do you know the story of Matthew Shepard, Jim?
Refresh my memory.
I will. Keep listening, and I'll tell the story of Matthew Shepard when we return on the Matt McGill Show.
Hope you're having a tenacious Tuesday afternoon, Chicago. I'm Logan Page, and here's what's happening in your local and national news. Interim Chicago Public Schools CEO Dr. Macklin King is one of the 3 finalists to replace Pedro Martinez as the next school superintendent. She sat down in studio for an exclusive interview with WVON's Rufus Williams this morning. WVON's Annette Flournoy reports.
Now on the job for close to 9 months, Dr. King talked about some of her biggest challenges and successes and her thoughts about being in the running to lead Chicago Public Schools into the future.
I took an interim role, but I was completely committed to the work as if I were the permanent CEO. And that's where I realized, well, Macquillan, this is something that the permanent CEO should pursue, and leadership. And so that's where the conflict, the title was interim, but my heart was committed to the district.
She took on the job last June and was handed a $736 million CPS budget shortfall by Martinez, who was fired by the board. Annette Flournoy, Our News Now, 1690 WVON.
In other news, ICE agents are being deployed to at least 14 airports across the nation, including O'Hare Airport. President Trump says he sent the federal immigration agents to help TSA officers during the partial government shutdown. Meanwhile, hundreds of TSA officers have quit or have called in sick, leading to long lines at security checkpoints. Some continue to work without pay during the now 5-week-long partial government shutdown. In other news, a series of racist and anti-Semitic vandalism incidents has been reported in Chicago's Hyde Park neighborhood, including a definition theater in nearby locations. The messages included slurs and threats appearing on public property like mailboxes, benches, and signs over several weeks. Police are investigating the incidents as potential hate crimes and are seeking information from the public. Community leaders and residents have strongly condemned the acts and expressed support for those targeted. And Cardinal Health has recalled antiseptic wipes distributed across the U.S., Puerto Rico, and Japan due to potentially life-threatening bacterial contamination. The affected products used to disinfect skin before medical procedures include nearly 400 lots sold between September 2025 and February 2026. Health officials warn the contamination could cause serious infections if the bacteria enters the bloodstream. While no illnesses or deaths have been confirmed, consumers are urged to check and discard any recalled wipes immediately. I'm Logan Page, and that's what's happening in your news now on WVON 1690.
As nice as it might seem to sleep on the couch with your baby on your chest, it isn't safe. Couches and armchairs are extremely dangerous places for infants, and sleeping on them greatly increases the risk of death, especially if an adult is also asleep. Couches and chairs are great places for you to feed, hold, and bond with your baby, but when it's time for them and you to take a nap, they should go in the crib, bassinet, or portable play yard. For more safe sleep tips and resources, go to oneshyfam.org/safe sleep.
Hey, wouldn't it be great if life came with a remote control? You know, you could hit pause when you needed to, or hit rewind, like that time you knocked down that wasp's nest.
Uh-oh.
Or that time you forgot to roll up your windows in the car wash.
Fantastic.
Yeah, a remote control would have come in handy then. Well, life doesn't always give you time to change the outcome, but prediabetes does. With early diagnosis and a few healthy changes like managing your weight, getting active, stopping smoking, and eating healthier, you can stop prediabetes before it leads to type 2 diabetes. It's easy to learn your risk. Take the 1-minute test today at doihaveprediabetes.org. Life doesn't come with a remote control. Yikes! So you're on your own with the wasps. You have the power to take control of prediabetes. Visit doihaveprediabetes.org today. That's doihaveprediabetes.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and its Prediabetes Awareness Partners.
Hey, Chicago, this one is for you. Join OG Mr. Rick for the OG Culture Report every Thursday night from 9 to 12 right here on WVON 1690 AM. We're talking the culture, our stories, the streets, politics, entertainment, our struggles, our wins, and the voices that matter. Don't miss it. Every Thursday night, 9 to 12, the OG Culture Report with yours truly, OG Mr. Rick on WVON 1690. That's it. That's all.
Hey, Alexa, play WVON 1690 AM.
Getting WVON 1690 AM station from iHeartRadio.
Try it out for yourself. America is listening to WVON.
WVON is more than a radio station. We're your connection to Black America. That means we're everywhere. On Facebook at WVON, on Instagram at WVON, and on the WVON app. WVON is everywhere.
Now back to Matt McGill on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
Go on, brush your shoulders off. Ladies is pimps too. Go on, brush your shoulders off. Niggas is crazy, baby. Don't forget that boy told you, kid. Yeah, turn up your shoulders. I probably owe it to y'all. Probably be locked by the force. Trying to hustle some things that go with the push. Feeling no remorse.
All right, we're back, guys. It is 1:37 on your favorite radio station, WVON. Hey, you know, when I brought up this issue of violence, we had a couple of people call in and talk about. One person called in and talked about this story that happened up near Loyola University on the beachfront, and it was an illegal immigrant. So they're pointing to an illegal immigrant, and as if this is the problem, right? And hey, this violence is happening. This senseless violence against innocent people is happening in America because of illegal immigrants. Well, let me bring up a couple of cases for you. Matthew Shepard, if you don't remember, Matthew Shepard was a young man that was killed in Utah, I believe it was. He was killed because he was gay. He was targeted by two men, Aaron McKinney and Russell Henderson, two white men, right? Not illegal immigrants. These two white citizens of the good old United States of America killed him. And thank God they both received a death penalty, or at least 2 life sentences, because the death penalty was taken off of the table. One received 2 life sentences. The other one received life in prison. So they're taken out of the system. But these are just 2 good old white boys. Not immigrants. They're born and raised, good old white boys, born and raised right here in America. They went and killed a kid because he was gay. They're not immigrants. They were born and bred with apple pie And the good old Stars and Stripes. Yep, just two white supremacists there. That's what happened. And then you might remember, and both of these guys, Aaron McKinney had a record also, violent behavior, drug use. I mean, he's just a piece of crap, just a good old white trailer trash piece of crap out there. And, you know, you don't have to be an immigrant to kill innocent people in America. How about the name of James Byrd Jr.? You guys remember that name? This James Byrd Jr., 49-year-old black man who was walking in Texas. He accepted, oh man, I just hate this story. Accepted a ride from 3 white men. Instead of them taking him home, they beat him, chained him by his ankles to a pickup truck and dragged him for miles along a rural road in Texas. Of course, he died during the attack. His body was left near a church. Considered one of the most brutal hate crimes in modern U.S. history. Unfortunately, not the most brutal hate crime, because some people would say Emmett Till or the lynchings that we talked about earlier. The men that killed James Byrd, John William King. He was the ringleader. Good old white boy from Texas. He wasn't an immigrant. Good old apple pie eating, Stars and Stripes singing, John Denver, I'm sure, country music loving, or what's the Kid Rock loving, probably. All right, just a good old American white boy. Yeah. Also, his cohort, Lawrence Russell Brewer. Looks white as hell to me. He doesn't look like an immigrant, y'all. Good old white boy here, too. Apple pie coming out his ass, and the Stars and Stripes, and probably singing country music, and Hail to the Chief. Probably would have been voting for Donald Trump. He was Mr. Lawrence Russell Brewer. Guess what? He was executed in 2011. That's what his white ass got for being such a hateful white supremacist. He got killed because he wanted to drag James Byrd. Not an immigrant. Not an immigrant. So we can talk all that immigrant crap all we want to, as if that is our problem with the violence in America. I think we all know the violence in America predates the immigrants. And, you know, I'll bring up one more name for you. How about that, since we're on a roll here? How about Ahmaud Arbery? You guys remember Ahmaud Arbery from 2020? Huh? 25-year-old black man who was killed while jogging in a neighborhood near Brunswick, Georgia. Arbery was out for a jog. A father and son, Gregory McGill and Travis McGill. Gregory McGill and Travis McGill. Now check this out. This is a father and son team, right? 2 good old white boys from Georgia. They claimed they suspected him of burglaries in the area. They confronted him, and during the confrontation, Travis McGill shot and killed Arbery, young 25-year-old brother. A neighbor, William Bryant, followed in another vehicle and recorded the video of the incident. Yeah, just good old hobby, man. We videotape when we kill niggas down here in Georgia. Why not? You got a video camera. We good old, just 3 good old white boys, not immigrants. These are birth certified Americans right here, just killing innocent people. I can continue now if you want me to, since we think the migrants are the ones responsible for all the violence in America. And I'm not trying to excuse it. If a immigrant, migrant, whatever the hell, if they commit murder in America, hey, give them the death penalty too. I don't care. They need to. But I just want to dispel of this thought that the violent problem that we have in America is because of migrant, because these white boys, a father and son team, killed Ahmaud Arbery, and their friend videotaped it. These are three good old white men right here. Stars and stripes and apple pie coming out of their ass. Ahmaud Arbery was unarmed. No evidence he had committed a crime. He was pursued and confronted by civilians, American-born, Kid Rock loving, I'm sure. What's that other fool from Detroit that Trump likes to have at his rallies? Singing God Bless America, I'm sure. Apple pie coming out his ass. And they killed innocent people. Do I need to continue? Walking while black. 2 times, James Byrd and Ahmaud Arbery. One was walking while black, one was jogging while black, and Matthew Shepard was just walking and being gay. So the history of this country and violence predates immigrants, my friends. I can go on and on. You want me to talk about Laquan McDonald and the cop that shot and killed him, the violence that goes on in America? Huh? We can talk about that good old apple pie coming out of his ass cop as well. If you want me to, I can keep going because I got time and I got an iPad. And in this iPad, plenty more examples of what I'm talking about. The America that you live in, that I live in, that 1926 Congress wouldn't even pass anti-lynching laws. Apple pie, stars and stripes. You want to talk about violence? We can do that. 591-1690. All right, the caffeine is starting to get to me a little bit. I'm drinking my ceremonial cacao. Y'all know what that is? I'm going to show y'all the bag, man. It's just straight up chocolate. It's got natural caffeine in it. But I think because it's chocolate too, and it comes out of the earth and Mother Africa, it's making me feel some kind of way about violence in America, especially violence against black. I could keep going. I got an iPad. There's nothing you can tell me about the history of violence in America that I don't know about or this iPad can't tell me about. And it ain't got nothing to do with immigrants or what Donald Trump is trying to tell you. We got to get ICE together. And I'm all for stronger borders. But see, don't let that get into your head to make you think that the problem we have in America is about immigrants being here. We got a problem of race and hate and guns and violence. All right, we'll take some more of your phone calls at 147. Let's take a break here. You're listening to the Black Power Station, the Black Power Black Caller Check-In at 591-1690, the Black Express Yourself Radio Show. What else can I talk about, y'all? But being black and being in America and where we are and where we need to be going. Where are we going? In 100 years, where will we be? Will we be talking about these same issues? Because there are always going to be white folks killing black people just because we're black. But will there always be black people killing black people? For what reason? 591-1690, Matt McGill Show.
More from Matt McGill coming up on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON. This Women's History Month, WVON celebrates the women who refuse to be silenced. This is Women Who Roar.
In today's political landscape, clarity is power, and Amisha Cross brings it boldly. A political strategist, commentator, and voice often heard on national news platforms. Cross does not just join the conversation, she sharpens it. With insight rooted in policy, advocacy, and lived experience, she breaks down the issues shaping our country and challenges narratives that leave too many voices out. From voting rights to economic opportunity, her commentary cuts through noise with purpose. Because real leadership isn't just about holding office. Sometimes it's about holding the mic and using it well. Her roar is intellect. Her roar is analysis. Her roar is fearless truth in the public square. Amisha Cross reminds us that informed voices move democracy forward. Amisha Cross is a woman who roars.
From boardrooms to block clubs, these are the Women Who Roar, an exclusive feature on WVON.
This Women's History Month, we're amplifying the brilliance, the boldness, and the unapologetic power of women who refuse to whisper. These are the women who roar, the lawmakers, the CEOs who walk into boardrooms and flip the script. The journalists who ask the hard questions, the organizers who move communities from outrage to action. These women are breaking barriers, rewriting narratives, and redefining what leadership looks like, fueled by courage and driven by legacy. Listen to Women Who Roar, an exclusive feature on WVON, because quiet was never the assignment.
The Friday Night of Premieres returns to Vaughn TV Friday, March 27th. Opening night, Vaughn TV takes you inside a story that shook the nation. Say Her Name. The life and death of Sandra Bland. She was 28 years young, outspoken, politically engaged. 3 days after a routine traffic stop, she was found dead in a Texas jail cell.
How do you go from failure to signal a lane change to dead in jail by alleged suicide?
Say Her Name, a gripping look at the 2-year fight between her family and Texas authorities, revealing new details, hard truths, and Sandra's own powerful words. Then stay with us all month for bold storytelling from fearless new voices. Friday Night of Premieres begins March 27th only on Vaughn TV. Watch on Roku, Amazon Fire, Apple TV Plus, the WVON app, or at VON.TV. Vaughn TV, for the culture, by the culture.
It all comes down to this, folks.
Yep, the entire season is on the line.
But my throat has officially thrown in the towel. Sounds like you need Vicks VapoCool drops. They're max strength and vaporize sore throat pain.
Whoa! These VapoCool drops hit fast.
Speaking of fast, did you just see that play?
Yeah, he vaporized that ball.
That fun should have come with a penalty.
Vaporize sore throat pain with Vicks VapoCool drops. Use as directed.
It's tax season, and by now, I know you're a bit tired of the numbers, but here's an important one you need to hear. $16 billion. That's how much money in refunds the IRS flagged for possible identity fraud. Not all grim news. LifeLock monitors millions of data points per second for your personal information and alerts you to threats that you could easily miss on your own. If your identity is stolen, LifeLock's U.S.-based restoration specialist is going to fix it. Save up to 40% off your first year with the promo code BECK, 1-800-LifeLock or lifelock.com. Terms do apply.
Have you checked out WVON's digital streaming network, Vaughn TV? It's everywhere on Roku, Apple TV Plus, Amazon Fire, on the WVON app, and at VON.TV. Vaughn TV, it's cultural content on purpose.
Now back to Matt McGill on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
All right, I just wanted to get that off let me rein myself back in. See, I'll start drinking caffeine, man. Caffeine will get me if I don't watch, I'll start going Steve Coakley on y'all, man. Y'all know brother Steve Coakley had no problem saying exactly what was on his mind, right? Steve did not bite his tongue. Steve Coakley was going to say what he wanted to say. He didn't care if he offended people or not. Conspiracy. Whether there was Steve Coakley he expressed himself, right? And a lot of black people supported And love Steve Coakley for speaking his mind and saying things that other people wouldn't say in public. And sometimes I do that right here on WVON. But I'm not as provocative as Steve, though. Steve was one of a kind, brother. Ain't no doubt about that. 591-1690. All right, enough of me. Let's get to some of these phone calls. I know I start talking. This issue of violence, the black on black violence is something that we got to talk about, because as I'm asking the question, right? Has violence in America impacted black people more than any other race, right? As we look at our progress, there was a couple of things I was talking about. First, I came on the show and said, can we be repaired? And then I'm asking the question about political power. Is the lack of political power, and we've got political power and people in position. So maybe the question is a lack of results for black people in America through politics. Are we to blame the politicians or the community for not being politically educated and understanding how to take advantage of political power? That's one question. I know it's a little complicated. And then, of course, the violence question. All right, what's on your mind?
Hey, what's up, man? I kind of lost track of what you were talking about fully too. I thought you were saying
I'm all over the place, bro.
Yeah. No, it's all good. I mean, well, I was really I guess to answer your question overall, like what we're talking about, man. We all over the place, like black, culture, politics, et cetera, et cetera. It's all over the place, and we got to get some kind of focus and unification. I mean, even just the idea of like, okay, so like, I'll take like this voting, situation thing. Like on its face, and I'm a Democrat, lifelong, whatever. On its face, I can't see. Well, I'm really an independent. I'm not a Democrat, but I voted Democrat my whole life, right? But I can't see an issue with having to have an ID to vote. I mean, I don't know. Like if I feel like if a white liberal hadn't have told me that was an issue, then I wouldn't have thought that was an issue. I feel like somebody had to tell, and I feel like that's our problem. We're being pulled in all these directions, whether it's religious, political, financial. I mean, and we have people in different positions in black culture and black America. So, who we listen to? We listen to the academics and the intelligentsia. Do we listen to the business world, the financial? Like, do we listen to the religious people? Do we listen to poor, disenfranchised? Who are we listening to? Because like for me, okay, I need an ID to pretty much do anything. So I need it explained to me why it's racist, like to have an ID. Like I said, it's on its face. Like I know where my birth certificate is, and then you have pandering. Like I heard somebody, like I heard Bernie Sanders saying he don't know where his birth certificate is. Like, come on, man. You know what I mean? And so like that's the silly stuff. So it's like we gotta pick. I'm not saying if you really believe that's an issue, okay, then like let's get to the bottom of it. But I don't see it's an issue, right? So am I like in some kind of weird? No. So, like I need an ID to do everything.
So here's what. No, brother, you're making a very good point. But here's the issue. I think overall, if you're going to say that you should have a identification card to vote, I think most people would agree with you, right? I think most people would be on board with, hold on, let me finish the thought. And I'm sorry, I know I pause and I create this opening, but just listen to me for 1 second. If this, I think it's Save America Act, is that what it's called? The Save America Act.
Yeah, that's what it's called.
I believe if it was, hey, you could take your driver's license with you or your state ID with you and vote, I think most Democrats would be on board with it, but it's not that. It's not that. So it's a little more complicated, right? They want you to have like passport, your birth certificate, whatever it is, right? So they're requiring, what they're doing is they're making the threshold a little more complicated. And just by virtue of some people coming from a different background, it's going to be harder for them to find that identification. Not that it doesn't exist, so it might mean, hey, you got to go down and go get your birth certificate. And what Democrats are saying is that the group of people that more than likely will fall through the cracks and slip through the cracks and not do that due diligence to get their voter ID is more than likely going to be minorities and people that are less advantaged, and they've got 99 more problems, and they are not thinking about, I got to go down and stand in line and get my birth certificate so I can vote, right? And I get where you're coming from, because I'm the same way. I said this 20 years ago on this radio station. More than 20 years ago on this radio station. This issue came up back then in 2004, 2005. Me and Perry doing a show together. And I said, right now, we need to make sure that all of our people have proper identification, because this is going to be an issue that is going to be used against us when it comes to voting. I said that 20 years ago. Instead of fighting a fight against voter ID, let's just put a campaign together to make sure that our people have proper identification. Now, these Republicans and Trump, they're being slick about it, because it's not just normal identification. Like I said, they want you to have something more substantial than just your driver's license. That's where
they want you to have. I thought they wanted you to have a picture ID to vote, to go get you. That's it. To register to vote, you need your birth certificate and stuff like that. Which is not a problem.
No, not a picture ID. They want you to have a proof of United States citizenship, which is a birth certificate or a passport.
To register. But when you go to vote, all you need is your picture ID.
Well, you can't. Brother, you're not going to be on the voting poll unless you're registered. So if you can show up with an ID, your name's not going to be on the list unless you're registered.
So again, and this is the thing.
So you need proof of U.S. So you need a birth certificate or a passport. That's the bottom line. That is what's holding this up. And now Trump wants to use that to block any passage of funding for DHS and our Homeland Security people at the airport, unless Democrats sign on to this legislation. So that just goes to show you how political this is. All right, when we come back, guys, we are going to be talking to some of our friends from Hawaii. There's record flooding going on in Hawaii that has impacted the entire island, and also Black businesses in the area. We've got a guest on from the Black Chamber of Commerce that's going to join us and tell us exactly what's happening in Hawaii when we return on the Matt McGill Show.
Happy Tuesday afternoon, Chicago. I'm Logan Page, and here are your news headlines. Illinois insurance bill heads to the Senate. DePaul AD Dwayne Peavy gets contract extension through 2031. Allergy season starting earlier and lingering longer. And Tiger Woods to play TGL final. National news from the Black Information Network is up next on Chicago's only urban talk radio station, WVON 1690, Berwyn, Chicago.
Here's PIN News Now. An Air Canada express jet hit a Port Authority rescue truck while landing at LaGuardia Airport, killing the pilot and co-pilot. An air traffic controller appeared to admit he messed up in the heat of the moment.
That wasn't good to watch.
Yeah, I know I was here. I tried to reach out to my staff, and we were dealing with an emergency earlier. I messed up.
No, man, you did the best you could.
41 people were sent to the hospital. The airport reopened Monday about 2 p.m. Eastern following the fatal collision. Former President Obama is praising the late Robert Mueller as one of the FBI's finest leaders after President Trump reacted to Mueller's death by saying he was glad he was dead. Mueller, who led the Russia investigation, died Friday at 86. And Netflix and Warner Music Group have signed an exclusive multi-year first-look deal for documentaries on WMG artists, which CEO Robert Kinsel calls a major chance to reach new fans. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app. Here's Terry McCready.
ICE agents are now at the nation's airports. The Trump administration says they're helping TSA agents who have been working without paychecks during the partial government shutdown.
These guys, they got families like anybody else. They're Americans like anybody else. It's terrible what's happened to them.
Black Republican Congressman and candidate for Governor Byron Donalds of Florida blames the Democrats for playing politics. Party leadership doesn't want to fund the Department of Homeland Security until major changes are made to the immigration enforcement tactics of ICE agents. Donalds met with the Florida Atlantic University College Republicans yesterday for an invitation-only event at the school in Boca Raton. President Trump in Memphis yesterday talking up crime reduction in the U.S.
Here in Memphis, we've achieved one of the largest, fastest declines in violent crime ever recorded. So that's something, right? Ever recorded.
Trump participated in a roundtable to discuss the success of the Memphis Safe Task Force. The initiative launched last year and is aimed at reducing violent crime through coordination among local, state, and federal agencies. Trump said because of the operation, Memphis can no longer be called the murder capital of the U.S. FBI Director Kash Patel, Attorney General Pam Bondi, and Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth were also in attendance. The Chicago Transit Authority is suing the Trump administration in a move to reverse a White House decision to freeze $3.1 billion in funding for rail projects in the third most populous U.S. city. The CTA is calling the suspension an unlawful act of political retaliation. According to the lawsuit, the U.S. Transportation Department and its Federal Transit Administration already have withheld at least $9.5 million from the city's public transit agency since October. The transit agency called the frozen grants crucial to modernize and expand the Chicago system of elevated and underground trains. Organizers predicting millions of Americans will join this weekend's No Kings protests against President Trump. It's set for Saturday in the third such national protest. According to the event website, demonstrations are planned in more than 3,000 locations across the U.S., including New York, Chicago, Los Angeles, Austin, and Washington, D.C. This protest comes after the two fatal ICE-involved shootings in Minnesota. The Supreme Court finishing hearing oral arguments in a case about whether states may count mail-in ballots received after Election Day. All 50 states require mail-in ballots to be postmarked by Election Day, but 14 states have grace periods where ballots that are submitted by Election Day can be counted if they arrive late. The case comes out of Mississippi, and court experts say the conservative justices seemed skeptical of the state's argument to allow it. The Supreme Court is expected to decide on the case by the end of June. Stay informed, stay connected, and subscribe. Follow VIN News this hour wherever you get your podcasts. I'm Terry McCready for the Black Information Network.
This Women's History Month, WVON proudly presents Women Who Roar, Black Women Leading in Corporate America, a special live roundtable discussion you don't want to miss. Tune in to Cleopatra Draper live on The Cleopatra Show, Wednesday, March 25th, 11 a.m. to 12 noon. Real stories, real leadership, real impact, only on WVON 1690.
It's D.L. Hughley.
You can't kill your way to peace. We can have any number of experts talk about what's happening here, but ultimately it's this. It is powerful white dudes who want a resource. Like, we're going to pretend like we want you to have freedom, but really we want this oil.
Weekdays at 5 a.m. on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON. You never know who's going to stop by WVON.
Uncle Luke is in the building.
What's up, Luke? Welcome to WVON, brother.
Hey, how you doing?
Atheon Crockett, what's up, my brother?
Thanks for having me. Thanks for having me back. I'm back the second time.
Tim Hardaway on the live line with us. Tim, what's going on, brother?
No question. How you doing, man? I always have fun when I come back home to Chicago. Love coming back home.
We are the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON. Protect your money and build your wealth. Sundays at 3 p.m. Host and owners of Top & Top Insurance Agency, Clydell and Betty Top, teach you about protecting your assets, 401ks, annuities, life after retirement, the differences and benefits of life insurance. And they take questions. Their advice can enhance your financial future and your legacy. Call for a free WVON financial consultation, 773-881-8110. Tune in Sundays at 3 p.m. to protect your money and build your wealth. Powered by Top & Top Insurance Agency.
Happy Women's History Month from the station that celebrates Black Girl Magic, WVON.
Live from the Xfinity Studios, it's the station that America listens to, WVON, Berlin, Chicago. It's Matt McGill on Chicago's essential storyteller, WVON.
Inflation getting higher, makes it hard on the buyer. Unemployment on the rise, gasoline issues filled with lies.
Stand by.
Rent being paid late,
All right, it is 2:09 on WVON. Guys, there's a story that I'm following, and we are going to report on it about a group of former Black McDonald's franchise owners who have filed a federal lawsuit alleging that they were steered into less profitable locations and held to different standards and denied the same opportunities for growth as their white counterparts, despite investing heavily in their businesses over decades. I am going to bring the attorney on from that show, the attorney on from that case. Big case. You guys know this is the home of McDonald's here in Chicago, but we will talk about it. Can't hold back, right? With Black people involved, we got to be right there. Also, guys, Hawaii right now is dealing with its worst flooding in more than 20 years, and some of the stories coming out of there are very, very concerning. Powerful weather system called a Kona low storm. These storms bring in large amounts of tropical moisture, and the rain that they have gotten over a short period of time has been absolutely terrible and devastating to the island. Thousands of people have been evacuated. Roads, homes, and businesses have been completely submerged. Estimates close to $1 billion, guys. So you can only imagine the damage that it's done to civilian life there and to businesses. And how about Black-owned businesses? Well, Danielle Wills is here to help us figure that out. Danielle is founder of the Hawaii Black Chamber of Commerce, and they say they need help right now. Danielle, welcome to WVON.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, bring our listeners up to date on what's going on. I know, we're so far removed from Hawaii here in Chicago. We probably are not as understanding of what's happening there. Please give us some background on what's happening there.
Yeah, so kind of echoing what you said, was the worst storm in 20 years. We saw rain for 5 days straight. We got a little bit of sunshine and then another 4 or 5 days of rain. This is not something that's done yet. We had a lot more rain yesterday on different parts of the island, and this is a small community. So sometimes people think about Hawaii and so far away, it's paradise, sunshine. It is beautiful, but during these hard times, we really need community here and the community abroad to just help us come together. The biggest thing is rebuilding. Once the storm passes, there's so many families displaced, young kids, like you said, business owners. A lot of people lost everything, and so we just want to make sure we're helping how we can.
So is this the rain season there? Is this something that happens? I know this level of rain is unusual, but is there like a rain season where you guys are kind of expecting more rain than normal?
Yeah. So typically winter, so like November through March is our winter. So we do see rain, just never to this extent. And so that's the hard part, just preparation, the roads, the capacity of the dams for the amount of rain that came. But definitely it is like towards the end of rainy season right now.
Is it really? Yeah. And then tell me about where you live now. What island are you on?
So I'm on Oahu. That is a lot of the footage that you're showing. A lot of the flooding happened on the North Shore, on the far west, Makaha. I live in the west, but thank God we didn't get rain that, flooded us out of our home. But 5 minutes down the street, neighbors were out of power for a day or two. So and we are. It's one of the most expensive states. So even loss
Yeah.
of power and food, cars kind of ruined. All of that feels huge.
Yeah, I can only imagine. And the black. Tell me about the Black Chamber of Commerce there, because I'm really curious. Or more so, tell me about Black Hawaii, the Black community there, and of course, the business community as well.
Yeah. So, you know, Hawaii is beautiful. As the world has been changing, we've been seeing the Black community out here grow. So a lot more people coming here to get away from the mainland, just to feel peace and safe. We're not huge. I say right now we're a little less than 3% of the population, but we're here. And many of us are business owners. So, we have Black farmers, we have Black entertainers, we have a lot of brick and mortars, a lot of people in the food industry that even their businesses suffered a lot without
Sure.
being able to work. Some physical shops shut down. So we're here, we're growing. It's a small but powerful and growing community of Black people on island.
And so creating some Black culture there is it's got to be fascinating when you're dealing with such a small population of Black people, but it's got to be fascinating at the same time to try to bring like, where are you from originally?
Originally, I'm from Trinidad and Tobago. My family's from the island, so that's
Oh,
why,
there you go.
here feels
You
like
you you
home.
are an island girl. Okay.
Yes, I'm an island girl. I moved here from Colorado. I don't like cold weather.
Mhm.
But yeah, it is fascinating. It's beautiful because we get kind of a unique experience here where really the power is in upholding everyone, which is what we all want, right? And so, we just had a Black Expo
Oh, really?
for
Wow.
Black History Month.
Okay.
We showcased a lot of different foods, music,
Wow.
and it was beautiful just to see people of all walks really come together and experience and celebrate the Black community here on
All
island.
right, look, I'm putting this down on my calendar. So next Black History Month, we're going to come to
Yes.
Oahu, hook up with Danielle, and be
Yes,
part of
please.
the Black History Month celebration there. We got to bring WVON in the house, because it ain't no celebration unless you have Black media there, sister. Especially,
Yes, please come.
yes, sir. Especially with this history that we have here. How can our listeners help you, my sister? That's what we're in the business of doing.
So, listeners, if you are out there, I think the biggest thing right now is funding. We had the community still coming together to clean up, so we just need some funds to help donate. The Red Cross and some other local organizations are trying to fill the need, but we're trying to fill the gaps for things like gloves, diapers,
Mm.
clothing for kids, even hotel stay, because they have been working, but hotels are expensive here. So
Oh, yeah.
some families are at a loss of how to afford the next couple days, weeks, months in the hotel as their funds start running low. So that's the biggest thing. Echoing what you said, over $1 billion of damage and still counting. We had a lot more flooding yesterday. And so just trying to be prepared for more help. The other thing is if you're coming on vacation or someone that's coming or here, just encourage them to spend a day volunteering. Um, Hands are here, but it's few, and it's all people on the island helping each other. So if anyone from outside coming, or even if you want to make a trip to volunteer, the cleanup work is going to take a long time. This is not
Yeah, I can imagine.
an instant, North Shore is ready for fun again. It's going to take a lot of help. So
Yes,
we
it
welcome
is.
any and all help.
Yeah, water is very damaging, and it's going to take a lot of work and a lot of love. Is there a website or anything where people can send some
Yeah.
money to or anything? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to have the link on my website. I think that'll be the easiest because we break it down
Okay.
to go
All right.
to a lot of organizations. So it's hiblk
HIBLK chamber.org.
Yes.
All right. My sister, Danielle Wills of the Hawaii Black Chamber of Commerce. Our prayers, thoughts, and love to you, my sister. I know it's tough out there, but let's make sure that we do whatever we can do to help, and just continue to keep fighting. And good luck. I know it's a lot of work, and just our prayers with you, people who have lost everything And I think there was one death reported as well of a woman that was swept away, and our prayers with that family and a lot more. My sister, thank you for coming on WVON.
Thank you for having me, and I hope to see you. Aloha.
Oh, there you go. Love to you. Thanks for saying that. Appreciate you. All right, let's take a break here, guys. It is 2:18 on WVON. We'll grab some more phone calls and chop it up. See what else is on your mind. I got people on hold, so that means you guys want to talk. If you want to talk, I got time to listen, and of course, talk with you on the Matt McGill Show.
More from Matt McGill coming up on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
Sharpton. Catch Reverend Al Sharpton online at WVON.com or on the WVON app. Just click the Al Sharpton banner. Tune in every day at 12 noon for your daily dose. And if you miss it, catch the overnight replay from midnight to 3 a.m. We're keeping it real with Al Sharpton on WVON 1690.
Reverend Al told you personally, keep it real. Keep it real. Keep it real.
I'm Sally, a volunteer at United Way. I'm asking people around the neighborhood what they think this place needs. Excuse me, hi. What do you think this place needs?
I'd like to see more parking.
More playgrounds.
Free movies. That's easy. Better restaurants.
And you, what do you think this place needs?
This place? More ice cream trucks.
Okay. How about you?
Wi-Fi everywhere?
I was thinking more money in the pockets of local families come tax time.
Can I change my answer?
I was just kidding about the ice cream.
Oh, that's way better. Now that you mention it.
When it comes to getting better tax refunds into the hands of local families, what this place needs is you. To donate or volunteer, go to unitedway.org. Because great things happen when we live united. Brought to you by United Way and the Ad Council.
It's Rufus Williams.
Honored to have in the studio with me this morning, Congressman Danny Davis.
Thank you for your analysis. I heard you as I was coming in and your assessment. I listened to you even when I'm in Washington.
Weekdays at 7 a.m. on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON. It's Matt McGill.
Man, I'm agitated by black people not understanding the moment that we're living in right now, as if we live in a post-racial America. And we're going to sit up here in a city like Chicago with the history of racism and bigotry and segregation. And we got nerve to complain about a black man some damn snow. In 1995, we had a heat wave. 739 people died in the city of Chicago. And guess what you Negroes did? Y'all reelected Mayor Daley 3 more times after that. Help me help you, or get out the freaking way.
Weekdays
What's wrong with you Negroes?
Chicago, 1690 WVON.
Get out the way.
Have you checked out WVON's digital
I
streaming?
ain't got
network
time for
on
y'all
TV
foolishness now.
Everywhere on Roku, Apple TV Plus, Amazon Fire, on the WVON app, and at VON.TV. Von TV, it's cultural content on purpose.
Now back to Matt McGill on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
Biggie there, and I Papa been school since days of under rules. Never lose, never choose to. Bruce through to do something to us. Talk go through us. Girls want to us, wanna do us, screw us. Who us?
Okay.
Close like Starsky and Hutch, stick to clutch.
Good old days of black entertainment, right? The 90s, man. There was no better decade. Well, I don't know. I'm not going to say there was no better decade, but the 90s and black music was banging. Yes, it was. It was coming hard and heavy. We had everything going. R&B, rap, house music was banging in the 90s. We had boy groups. We had girl groups. We had R. Kelly. Ooh, Luther Vandross. Ooh, Anita Baker. Ooh, we had it all going. Sade. I mean, just coming out with bangers left and right. And then this brother, the Notorious. Him and Diddy. At that time, he was Puffy, Papa and Puff. Girls want to do us. Through us. Who us? Papa and Puff. Those were the days, though. And then you had Pac. And then everything started getting a little ugly, man. I hate to put it on Pac. Pac got out there with Suge and lost his mind. But then that's just how it was, man. What you gonna do? What you gonna do? What you gonna say? Try to help out if you can. Our sister out in Hawaii. I mean, I know it's a tough call, but try to help out if you can. She's out there, and there are Black people out there living out there in business. It's really interesting, man. You think about the fact that there's a community of Black people out there that are trying to do their thing and survive, man. And from what we've seen on television, if you've been paying attention to the news, the flooding is devastating, man. Water comes into your house and it destroys everything. There's nothing you can do. You're lucky to get away with your life, let alone any of your memories, your clothes. Everything is wet, mildew. You got to get rid of it all. And I'm not even sure, you know, in some of these states like Hawaii, man, flood insurance probably is not available. Just think about that for a minute. All right, let's go to phone lines. Let's go to Michael. Michael, welcome to WVON. What's on your mind?
Hey, brother Matt, this is Mike Moss. How are you, man? Long time no hear from you.
Thank you, brother. I'm doing good, man. How are you? I'm glad to hear from you.
Yeah, man. Well, you know, I was listening and I said I have to call in and, you know, seeing it, you know, once I heard the topic, I said I got a response to that one. You know, when you ask the question, can Blacks be repaired? Matt, you know, we had every position in the world just about nowadays, from the president to the least. I mean, we preach some of the biggest sermons in the world, throughout the world. I mean, man, we done it all. I think the main thing that we forget about, man, is, and I had to just have my testimony about this part because I really think, man, we left off God, man. We don't got too fast, too busy for God. We got the best CEO jobs, the COO jobs. We don't have the best in the entire world at one time or another. And, man, I think that's the only way it's going to be repaired, man. We got to go back home to God, man. You know, our legacy was that what our grandmothers taught us and our great-grandmothers taught us. And I think, man, we make so much money and got so much educated, we don't get away from God, man. And that's what we got to do. We got to go back. Now, you know, this Mike Moss used to own Gold Coast Beef, was a millionaire 3 times in life, seen it all, been around it all, had the best of the best, big mansions, all the Bentleys. Man, and I stayed, you know, I made a few mistakes, man, but I stayed with God, man. And to this day, man, there's no comparison, man. I'm looking at it from a different lens, and I'm looking at it, man, there's no comparison. You know, we've been president, we got the best jobs, we've been around the world, the best traveling, the best vacations, the best everything in life. And there's still no comparison to what I'm seeing, man.
Mm-hmm.
That's the reason why I say I better call in and say hi to you, first of all, and just share my testimony. We got to get back to God.
That's good testimony, man. I will say this, man. There's always, you know, room for God in our lives. There's no question about that, man. And I think, but you know, I will say this: Black people are, you know, Black people go to church, man. Black people are in the church, and there's a strong Black church community here in Chicago. I know it is, but I mean, sure, I don't know if everybody's going. I think, you know, if we look at the problems in Black Chicago, we probably are looking at a population of people that are causing the problems, especially the violence, right? Are probably not church-going people. I think we pretty much know that, right? I think, you know, God always has a place for us in terms of stability and giving us, you know, some continuity to our lives. I think, you know, one of our problems, believe it or not, is, and I hate saying this because I'm sounding old by saying this, but, you know, drugs and alcohol, man, has really kind of grabbed the minds of people. You know, how they say the idle mind is a playground for the devil. And I think we have so many idle minds out there that drugs and alcohol has contributed to deluding our young people into thinking that, you know, drugs and alcohol are the way to make you feel better and navigate through life. And I think that kind of creates this, you know, this propensity to violence, crime. lethargic behavior where people are not motivated to get educated and move outside of their reality. So they kind of stay in this alternate universe of just getting high and drinking and hanging out in front of the liquor store, at the gas station. I mean, it's really an interesting phenomenon, man, when you think about Black Chicago. And I don't know if it's like this around the country, but I mean, the number of people that just hang out with nothing to do, that hang out at gas stations and liquor stores. And I'm talking about just hanging out in front of liquor stores, because we've got one over here on 71st and Indiana. That's I can tell is going to be a problem this summer. I already can tell people just hanging out, parking cars in front, blocking the bus stop. Right across the street, there's a gas station, same thing. And I think people get caught up in getting comfortable in that community, and because they know if they show up at the liquor store or at the gas station, they're gonna run into the same people every day. So then they kind of create this little community of hanging out with the same people every day, but nothing positive is coming out of that. It's a dependence on feeling good if I can get a drink or get high. And then that's going to lead to violent behavior or something else that's not productive. And we've got to look at other communities and ask ourselves, who in their community is just hanging out in front of a liquor store and a gas station? And whether or not we're falling behind. I tell my kids all the time, they're a little older now, so I can't use this on them anymore. But I told my daughter the other day, I said, hey, look, I want you to look at your class that you graduated out of college from. I want you to, look at the class of 2020 or whenever she graduated. And I want you to look at your classmates and kind of see what they're doing, and other people that graduated the same year you graduated from college, and see what they're doing and see if you are on par with them. Because really, bro, there's competition out here. So while we got people hanging out in front of grocery stores and liquor stores and gas stations, people of other races, man, there are people out here trying to get ahead. And we're carrying this weight of brothers that are lost and confused and just getting high and relying on that drink, hanging out, asking brothers for some change while you pumping your gas in the car so they can go back into the gas station and buy something to drink. That is not a formula for success of any race of people, man. And I'm afraid we're when we ask that question, can we be repaired? We have to start with this reality, the optics that we see in our community every day. More phone calls when we return. Logan has WVON News coming up next.
More from Matt McGill coming up on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
Hope you're having a tenacious Tuesday afternoon, Chicago. I'm Logan Page, and here's what's happening in your local and national news. The Illinois House approved a bill tightening regulation of home and auto insurance rates. It aims to increase oversight, limit unfair rate hikes, and protect consumers. Supporters say it boosts transparency, while critics warn it could raise premiums. The measure now awaits Senate action. In other news, DePaul Athletic Director Dwayne Peavy is getting a contract extension. He will now remain under contract through 2031. It is Peavy's second contract extension since he was hired at the Lincoln Park campus in 2020. One of his major contributions during his tenure includes hiring men's basketball coach Chris Haltman, who built winning programs at Ohio State and Butler. DePaul's hoop team finished 16-16 in his second season. In other news, allergy season is getting an early start and may last longer this year. Tammy Trujillo has details.
According to a recent report by the Asthma and Allergy Foundation of America, Boise, Idaho is the worst spot in the nation for allergy sufferers. Some of the factors behind that distinction are high pollen concentrations and limited access to allergists. San Diego is number 2 and Tulsa is number 3. On the other side of things, allergies present the fewest challenges to people in Houston, New York, and San Antonio, Texas. I'm Tammy Trujillo.
And Tiger Woods is returning. Woods said he'll be playing today in match 2 of the Top Golf League final with his Jupiter Lynx team. The team just lost to Los Angeles, while Woods was sidelined after disc replacement surgery. National news from the Black Information Network is up next on Chicago's only urban talk radio station, WVON 1690, Berwyn, Chicago.
Hi, I'm Lori Smith, host of Meeting the Moment, coming to WVON beginning Saturday, March 21st at 12 noon. WVON, in partnership with the Chicago Community Trust, developed Meeting the Moment to amplify the voices of nonprofits across Chicagoland, giving them the communication tools they need to expand their reach and turn awareness into action. Right now, our communities are facing real challenges, from economic uncertainty to public safety to access and equity. But in the middle of it all, there are organizations doing the work quietly, faithfully, powerfully. With Meeting the Moment, we'll have honest conversations about the issues shaping our region and, more importantly, the solutions happening on the ground. And each week, we'll feature a Chicagoland nonprofit making a difference. You'll hear their story and find out how you can support their work. Because Meeting the Moment is about more than just awareness. It's about impact. Join the Meeting the Moment movement, a program designed for the doers. For more information, visit WVON.com/Meeting the Moment. Listen every Saturday at 12 noon, right here on WVON 1690, the talk of Chicago. Let's meet the moment together. Powered by the Chicago Community Trust.
Hi, I'm Tavis Smiley, inviting you to join me weekdays from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. right here on WVON. I am bringing you a national perspective on all the happenings in the Black community and, of course, politics. It's talk radio for us, by us, and this is where America listens.
It's Tavis Smiley, weekdays from 6 to 9 p.m. on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
The following message is brought to you by Goodwill and the Ad Council.
The inherent right to work is one of the elemental privileges of a free people. Endowed, as our nation is, with abundant physical resources, and inspired as it should be with the high purpose to make those resources and opportunities available for the enjoyment of all, we approach this problem of reemployment with the real hope of finding a better answer than we have now.
Your stuff can be more powerful than you think. Your stuff can be a resource for change. Donate to Goodwill, where your donations help fund job placement and training for people in your community. Goodwill. Donate stuff, create jobs. Find your nearest donation center at goodwill.org.
Tuned in to your favorite WVON personalities on Facebook Live? Don't just watch, like it, love it, share it. Every click helps us grow the conversation and keep the community strong. So remember, like it, love it, share it, Chicago.
Now back to Matt McGill on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
Not too long ago, I went to a theater and I saw the Cool in the Gang show. I always wanted.
All right, we're back. It's 2:37 on WVON. How you doing? How you doing? Taking my vitamin, man. You know, I think I need to take a multivitamin because I'm taking so many damn vitamins. D3, vitamin C, zinc, quercetin, oil of oregano. I'm losing track, and that's not half the stuff I need to be taking. Probably need to be taking some more. That D3, if you're taking it, they say you should take it with vitamin K. Have you guys heard that? So if you are taking D3, which a lot of people are, and say take it with vitamin K. So that I've got some beet powder right here, which is supposed to be good for you. I bought it just for the hell of it. I was at the store yesterday because everybody's been talking about it. I don't even know if that's good for you or not. I got all kind of stuff around here. Half the stuff I buy, I think I'm a take it and drink it, and it winds up sitting here. I was just looking in my refrigerator, and I saw this jar of something that looked like pudding. Y'all might have seen me eating it during the commercial break. I'm trying to figure out what the hell is this. It's like green in color. And this go to show you how you forget what you do. I had made a smoothie yesterday with some blueberries in it and didn't finish it yesterday. So I put it in the refrigerator and almost forgot about it. So I just had it right then and there. It pays to have a Vitamix. I can tell you that as you're getting older. You know how I used to laugh at old people who had those little vitamin containers for each day of the week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, right? And, you know, when you were young, I'm up here making fun of that in my mind. But now that I am that age and I need to be taking vitamins, I'm like, oh, wow, I see why they had this set up this way. Because you need it. Making sure you're taking all your vitamins and making sure that we are fulfilling our life. All right, 59116. I got some more phone calls. Let's go to him. Michael H. Welcome to WVON. What's on your mind, brother?
Yes, Matt. Let me say this to you. Byron was spot on. See, your agenda was to come on here and attack black people and talk about crime in the black community. And let me say this, all the crime that's committed in the black community is not by black people. And let me say this, disinvestment creates crime. Most of our black politicians keep a job because if they keep our community disinvested in, that creates crime. So then if they create crime, that means we can't have no job, no business, because everybody else on our business in our community. But you don't want to talk about that. So we got 20 black aldermen that have been bought off by the Arabs, the Chinese people, the Koreans, the Hispanics, the Indians. That's why they own all the business in our community. And they take millions of dollars out of our community every night, and we own nothing. So you tell me, who benefits from crime being every day in our community? Our black politicians. You know it, I know it, the man know it, and nothing's going to change. We have all these black politicians that wear empty suits. They're nothing but gatekeepers. They're black shut-out coons, and I said it, and I don't care who like it.
All right, brother. Well, you got to express yourself. How about that? You got anything else? You got anything else for me? What else you want to say? What else you got for me? Huh?
I asked you last time, a month ago, to resign, and you still on the radio. Resign as of 2:45 p.m. That's my request, brother.
Why don't I do it at 3:01? Can I at least finish? Can I at least finish the show? Can I at least finish the show,
brother?
Huh?
There's more crime in our community besides our community, but it's always the black people. The black people. Everybody think of us like we less than what we. Who cares about what everybody think about us? It's what we think about ourselves that counts, brother.
Well, hold on. So Matty Rash, I want you to put him on hold so I can speak, because I can tell he and I ain't gonna be able to speak together at the same time. Brother, what do you think this show is about? This show is about us talking about crime in our community and what we need to do about it. This show is obviously you haven't been paying attention to the show today. Because see, the whole theme of today's show was to talk about, are we repairable? What we can be doing, not relying on politicians. I even asked the question, is it the politicians, right? Or is it us? Because there's got to be some blame. You said something that was interesting. You said, all these black politicians have disinvested in our community. Do you really think the black politicians that we have are that they do not want to see investment in our community? Do you think, how many black aldermen? We got 19 black aldermen. Do you think all 19 black aldermen are committed to not seeing any investment in black communities? I mean, come on, brother. I mean, if you want to say they're bought and paid off and all that, there's enough space for that kind of criticism, brother. You can, call it whatever you see and you feel, you can call and express that. What I see is a disconnection between our Black politicians and our community on how we can use Black political power to our advantage. And that's why I asked the question, is it the Black politicians, or have we as Black people not fully grasped how to take advantage of having Black politicians in the position that they are in? If I made you, Brother Mike H., alderman tomorrow of whatever ward you want to be alderman of, are you, I'm assuming your heart's in the right place, brother, are you going to be able to change your ward and get investment in your community? Is it that easy? And I think we all know the answer to that question. It's not that easy. So there's something else there that we're not getting, we're not connecting to move the dots in our community. We can do better. We all can do better. Politicians can do better, and we've got to do the crime that happens. Nobody is telling our people to go out and commit crimes. There's Black on Black crime. There's white on white crime. There's brown on brown crime. I'm focused on what's happening in our community. I talked about this UPS, this brother that got shot and killed yesterday. I'm like, we cannot have that happen. This brother's a father. He had a fiance. He's working. How is he getting shot and killed looking for his car that somebody stole? Who you want to blame for that, brother? You want to blame the alderman for this brother getting shot and killed on the corner of 83rd and Hermitage? Robert, welcome to WVON. What's on your mind?
Thanks for taking my call, Matt. You were asking the question, can the Black community be repaired? No, the government will not allow it. When there were cities, towns established by people who left the plantations, over 1,200 of them in this country, and the government, either the people participated, the military in Tulsa, but there were over 1,200 others which were bombed, burned out, or flooded, placed underwater. And we can go through a laundry list of them. There were businesses, hospitals, schools, libraries. We had doctors, nurses. They've run the full gamut on what our communities were flourishing with, surviving and thriving. And then the government itself. In Tulsa, people don't know that when they were first attacked in Tulsa, the Black community was winning, but then they called in the military to assist them in squashing that defense of the Black community there in Tulsa, Oklahoma. We can go through many of them, and flooding. I'll get off your phone in a minute, but flooding is going on right here in Illinois, and outside of East St. Louis. The Black community there, raw sewage is running over the ground into their basements.
Really?
And they changed the name of the town from Centreville, Illinois, to Cahokia Heights. You can look it up. That is where the governor should have declared an emergency there, but they're not doing it. They're allowing that to drown out, and they've discovered E. coli in the water system there, so people can be poisoned and die off. That's part of the ethnic cleansing process taking place by the government. Thanks for taking my call.
Well, no, bro, I think you bring up a good point, man. Everywhere we've seen Black progress in the history of the United States of America, the government is actively participating in stopping it. That's the bottom line. I mean, it's historic documentation of that. This is not a theory or a conspiracy theory. This is reality. We see this. It's documented. To your point, brother. Every time we've seen Black progress, and you're bringing up a good question, brother, because how are Black politicians going to succeed in a system that is still dominated by white men, that was designed by white men to hold Black people back? Just because you put some Black faces in there, you think having 19 Black aldermen is going to be able to overturn a system of 50 aldermen that was designed to marginalize Black people? That's just unrealistic. It's unrealistic. All right, when we return, guys, It Takes a Village of Schools is in our building at WVON. And when we come back, they've got an event coming up And we're going to talk about that with Jasmine Spann. She's going to be in the studio, Vice President of Early Childhood Programs at It Takes a Village Family of Schools. That's coming up next on the Matt McGill Show.
More from Matt McGill coming up on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
This Women's History Month, we're amplifying the brilliance, the boldness, and the unapologetic power of women who refuse to whisper. These are the women who roar, the lawmakers, the CEOs who walk into boardrooms and flip the script, the journalists who ask the hard questions, the organizers who move communities from outrage to action. These women are breaking barriers, rewriting narratives, and redefining what leadership looks like, fueled by courage and driven by legacy. Listen to Women Who Roar, an exclusive feature on WVON, because quiet was never the assignment.
Before Hot Wins. Ooh, let's heat things up. Get fired up with Hot Wins, a new game from the Illinois Lottery. Learn how to play at IllinoisLottery.com. Be smart, play smart. Must be 18 or older to play. Game odds available at IllinoisLottery.com.
This spring, August Wilson's Ma Rainey's Black Bottom comes to the Goodman. It's 1927 Chicago. Ma Rainey, the mother of the blues, and her band are recording an album, but tensions build to one of the most heart-stopping endings in theater. Ife Butler stars, with Chuck Smith and Harry J. Lennox directing the play called A Genuine American Masterpiece. Ma Rainey's Black Bottom starts March 28th. Tickets at goodmantheater.org.
The Friday night of premieres returns to Vaughn TV Friday, March 27th. Opening night, Vaughn TV takes you inside a story that shook the nation. Say Her Name. The life and death of Sandra Bland. She was 28 years young, outspoken, politically engaged. 3 days after a routine traffic stop, she was found dead in a Texas jail cell.
How do you go from failure to signal a lane change to dead in jail by alleged suicide?
Say Her Name, a gripping look at the 2-year fight between her family and Texas authorities, revealing new details, hard truths, and Sandra's own powerful words. Then stay with us all month for bold storytelling from fearless new voices. Friday night of premieres begins March 27th, only on Vaughn TV. Watch on Roku, Amazon Fire, Apple TV Plus, the WVON app, or at VON.TV. Vaughn TV, for the culture, by the culture.
It's Rufus Williams. Every weekday morning from 7 to 9, I break down what's really going on, politics, power, and the people shaping our communities. Think of it like your morning newspaper, headlines, context, and what it actually means, so you can take it in, sit with it, and move smarter through your day. If you're part of the Roo Crew, you already know. And if you're watching on Facebook Live, the comments are a whole other show. A family reunion happening in real time. Listen live or on the WVON app, or join us on Facebook Live. It's the Rufus Williams Show, weekdays 7 to 9, right here on 1690 WVON.
Now back to Matt McGill on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
Makes me feel fine, blowing through the jasmine in my mind.
Okay.
All in the night.
Those summer breezes are on the way. Hopefully, we need to get spring breeze first, y'all. We got a little tease last week, and then it went away. But hopefully, it's coming back. Summertime will be here. You know what happens all of a sudden? Next thing you know, we go from winter to summer, and next thing you know, the summer is halfway over, and we're like, oh, Lord, here we go again, right? It Takes a Village family of schools are located right in our WVON headquarters down at River City. I'm not in the studio, so I'm missing out on my in-studio guest, who is Jasmine Spann, the Vice President of Early Childhood Programs at It Takes a Village family of schools. Jasmine, welcome to WVON. How are you, my sister?
I'm doing well. Thank you for having me. How are you?
I'm doing good. At home, taking it easy, doing the show, talking to the people. I see your, working in that building is so enlightening and funny because I get to see the children all the time, and it always brings a smile to our faces at WVON. But tell our listeners about It Takes a Village.
So It Takes a Village was founded over 20 years ago. I have the privilege of being here for 18 years. I actually started in this building as a teacher, moved up, and we are expanding, and we are having an event on Saturday called the Spring Egg Hunt to invite families who want to enroll their children in one of the best daycares in Chicago. I pride myself on not only nurturing the children, but also the families. We have a lot of family services. We feed our kids 3 meals a day. And I believe that it starts with the family. And so we want to show the world what we're all about. We want people to come out, no pressure, but we have did some renovations at our site. And so we want to just show it off and get some kids enrolled.
I love it. And one of the things that I like is for the working professionals, you guys are right downtown so people can drop their kids off on their way to work, right? In a convenient
Absolutely.
location, right?
Yes. Even if you live where I live, which is in Lansing, but I work downtown. So if you live in the suburbs, we have a lot of parents that live in the suburbs, and it's just easy for them to drop them off here and then pick them up on their way home. So yes, we are conveniently located in the South Loop, 800 South Wells, Suite 180. And like I said, we've been here and had that suite since 2008. So we're not new. I was one of the originals, and I've stuck around this long because I believe in the vision that our owners have. Nikisha Hobbs, Anita Andrews Hutchinson, and Gwendolyn Harris. Those are the 3 Black strong women who own this business and who support other Black businesses. And so I'm around because I believe in the mission and the vision of this school.
So what ages are we talking about here?
So the daycare, we have ages birth to 5 years old. So if your children, we take kids as early as 6 weeks and as late as 5. And so we have a preschool where we believe in not only just letting the kids play, but we actually have time to teach them. I've had the privilege of accepting children out of our daycare centers. And when I was the kindergarten teacher for 15 years at It Takes a Village Family of Schools Leadership Academy, our kids would already be reading, leaving the daycare. And I did that for many years. So I know the type of children we produce. And then they would come to me and I would further them along. So we believe that education starts at birth. We don't think this is a babysitting service. And so if you're looking for a place for your child to be nourished, comforted, and also learn, this is where you want to be.
Well, I love it, man. Like I said, I have the vantage point of seeing the kids every day, and some of the parents I over the years I've run into people in the hallway that I know, and that their kids have been there at the daycare center. So you guys are definitely doing an amazing job, and the kids always seem happy. It's really funny when they're leaving. My show ends at 3:00. So a lot of times when I come out, the parents are picking the kids up, and they come down that long hallway where the elevators are, right? It leads to the front, and they got so much energy. I can tell they just woke up from taking a nap. They're running down that hallway.
Yes. And the parents are trying to keep up with them.
And it's always quite a sight to see. But it's just good to have, these young kids there providing so much energy to the building, and we love it. All right, now tell her about the Easter egg hunt, because this is not only a fun activity, but it's also an opportunity for people to come and see the facility and some of the work that's been done there, and kind of get a feel for what it's like to have this convenience of having a child right there at 800 South Wells.
Yes. So on Saturday, it's going to be laid back. I'll be there. Actually, my boss, the chief programming officer, Dr. Keisha Brooks, we're going to be there. The site director is going to be there. And basically, we're going to give parents a tour of the site and also give the children the opportunity to be and do interactive activities with some of the teachers. They'll be there, kind of a peek of the day. So what do we do in our circle time? They're going to have the kids actually doing activities. And we're going to give the parents a tour. We do have some like parent testimonials of people that's already there. And then at the very end, before they leave, they will get to make their own Easter basket. We're going to set up one of our gross motor areas, and they're going to be able to go hunt for Easter eggs. And they'll make their baskets. We have some goodies, ITAB goodies in there, just to say thank you. And the most important thing, they'll be able to enroll on the spot. So we'll have somebody there to able to talk about how to enroll. We do take child care subsidies. So if parents qualify, you know, their daycare can be paid for based on their situations. And so we'll have somebody there to kind of talk to them about all those questions they may have. So yes, that's kind of.
There you go. And what time again?
It's at 10 a.m. until 1 p.m. So you can come anytime. We'll pretty much be doing the same thing all day. Like refreshments, fun. You'll get to meet some of the staff and get a tour. I'll be there if they have questions about the curriculum and just the schedule and what some of our future plans for It Takes a Village.
800 South Wells, guys. So where we are, and you'll be right in the same building where WVON is. How's that? You can't beat that. So get out there and enjoy it. And thanks so much for coming on today and sharing that with us. Jasmine Spann, Vice President of Early Childhood Programs at It Takes a Village Family of Schools. Also, I'd like to thank Danielle Wills coming on with us from the Hawaii Black Chamber of Commerce and sharing some of the stories about the flooding that's going on in Hawaii. And of course, to all of you guys for chiming in today. You know, I love you to pieces. Everybody on Facebook Live, please share the show so people all around the world can know that Black people are talking in Chicago. They can hear our voices, read our thoughts, and know that we are for real. This is the Black Power Station. This is the Black Caller Check-In. It's your favorite radio station, everybody. Share the love, and we'll be right back at it tomorrow at 12 noon. Don't go anywhere. Atiba and LaDonna Ray are coming up next with 3 hours of Power Radio. Jasmine, thank you so much. It's good seeing you, my friend.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you all.
All righty. We're out of here. Love you to pieces, guys. Bye-bye.
Happy Tuesday afternoon, Chicago.